Hi everyone, and welcome to the Pride Fighting Championships. We're in Tokyo, Japan, but by the time this airs in the United States, you're going to be getting ready for the 4th of July Independence Day celebration. And what perfect timing, because tonight's Pride show is titled Demolition, and I really expect to see fireworks in that ring tonight. I'm Stephen Quadros. I am the Fight Professor, alongside my broadcast partner, Boss Rutan. Boss, where are you? Boss, get over here. Come on, we gotta shoot this.
Give me a second.
Whoa. Boss, what are you doing?
Watch this.
No, come on.
Do it, run.
Boss, what are you doing, man?
I'm just trying to get in the spirit of the show here. I mean, we're here at the biggest, best mixed martial arts event in the world. And they call it Demolition. I mean, I gotta demolish something. Come on.
Oh, yeah, you just did. But speaking of demolishing something, Frye, the all-American tough guy, the man who conquered Ken Shamrock, is here, along with RENZO GRACIE, Schilt, Gilbert Ival, and a star-studded cast of characters.
Oh, yeah, and everybody knows that Frye was supposed to fight Mark Coleman. But Mark Coleman got injured in a training accident. It can happen, so that fight is postponed. But don't worry, it's going to happen. And thank God Frye came up with a very, very big Japanese fighter named Takayama.
Yeah, Takayama's big, all right, 6'7", 260 pounds plus. But Gilbert Ival, the Hurricane, is back in Frye. And he really likes that moniker of the bad boy of mixed martial arts.
Oh my God, you remember the last fight when he fought Frye here in Pride? Yellow cards all over the place, disqualification, the corner people tried to kill each other. It was hilarious. It was demolition in the ring everywhere. You know what? A rematch between those two guys, that would be really good. And you know, maybe if they both win tonight, it might happen.
And last but not least, 6'11" Schilt. This guy wipes people out with the kicks and the punches. He's going to definitely be in line for a title shot. So that's it, folks. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Pride Fighting Championships Demolition from Saitama Super Arena. Boss, we're here at Saitama Super Arena in Tokyo, Japan, and it's a sold-out crowd.
It's crazy. In about 5-10 minutes, the show is going to start. We're going to see some unbelievable fights, so get ready.
We've got Frye stepping back in, RENZO GRACIE, Schilt, Gilbert Ival, and the big man himself, the Beast, Bob Sapp. We also have a very special announcement tonight. The Pride Fighting Championships have been officially licensed in the state of Nevada. That's right, folks. The Pride Fighting Championships have been officially licensed in the state of Nevada, and we are ecstatic about that. We're coming for you, so U.S. fans, get ready. This is a huge step for the sport of mixed martial arts, boss.
Oh, yes, it is, because now the people in America are going to see what Pride is all about, and they can see it in their own country. And I tell you what, if you're here in this place, it is unbelievable. The thrill, the whole show around everything, around the fights, it's going to be something really special.
And this is the first time that a foreign-based fight organization has been licensed in Nevada. We also have a very special announcement on September 1st. And I'm not going to say too much about this. It's going to be a bit of a surprise. We will present to you on pay-per-view a martial arts extravaganza named Shockwave. So, if you go on that Labor Day weekend, that holiday, be sure to set your VCR and get it on pay-per-view. Shockwave will be coming to you from the Japan Tokyo National Stadium, and we're expecting in excess of 80,000 people.
It's an open stadium. This is something, yeah, I want to talk about it, but I cannot, because you guys have to find out yourself. But it's like 80,000 people. It's like you said, a big stadium, open air. It's going to be awesome.
A lot of big stars in the martial arts. More on that later, but that will be September 1st, pay-per-view, Shockwave. Don't miss it. Okay, man, the crowd is excited. They're really, really excited tonight, boss.
Oh, if you only could feel. I always say this for the people at home, you cannot believe the feeling you have here, the bass drum is running through your whole body. It's something really special.
But listen, is that our friend K. Grant?
The Japanese Elvis.
戦いに飢えた選手たちの魂が炎を溶かすマーシャルアーツワールドカッププライド
Uh-oh. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
There we go.
that's what I'm talking about. Oh.
And there's
Give me a torch.
Hitomi passing it on to Risa.
You're up to date, Stephen.
Well, just do my homework.
I love the music.
This is absolutely beautiful. And I mean this spectacle as well as our lovely ring girls. Are they going to set that thing on fire? Oh. Uh-oh.
It's like a hurricane. A hurricane flaming hurricane inside.
They've set something to life inside of that curtained area.
It looks angry to me.
Well, as I said at the beginning of this show, expect fireworks in that ring. I didn't realize we were going to have fireworks like this.
Man, I'm holding myself because you never know what's going to happen now.
Uh-oh. Looks like we're gonna need the fire department in any minute here. What is this? And now I'm getting scared.
It's the omen.
It's the power of...
It's the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Woo! Man!
Whoop.
I feel exercise. Oh!
Hello, fight fans, and welcome back to Pride Resurrection, a historical video series dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championships, where with each episode we'll take a look back at a specific event from Pride's history. And today, dear viewers, we're going to be taking a look back at Pride 21. I am the most dangerous man alive today, joined by the Colombian Good Vibe. Woo-hoo-hoo! He's back from Colombia. They let him back in.
They didn't want to.
Despite my anonymous tip.
I mean, they did give me a full body cavity search, but
okay.
When I started enjoying it, they're like, you belong here, you son of a bitch. We're all about sodomy in this country.
In a world where deadly four-wheeled machines are the law, there is a constant battle in the streets of Saitama, Japan. Death, destruction, and debauchery are the rules of the road, and no one is safe. There is no normal life, not while deadly 4-ton rocket-powered steel monsters roam. And so, to bring an end to the madness, a plan is hatched to return peace and tranquility to the land. An epic battle between the 16 baddest road hogs in all of Japan. A battle to the death, where only one will emerge as the victor and be crowned the new king. This is Pride 21, Demolition! Held on June 23rd, 2002 at the Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan, Pride 21 sees 8 bouts of demolishing action with returning faves and a couple new stars who look to set the MMA world on fire. Bob Sapp, Kiyoshi Tamura, Gary Goodridge, Alex Stifling, Gilbert Ival, Renzo Gracie, Schilt, Takayama, and Don Frye all are returning, as well as the debuts of 2 future GOATs, Anderson Silva and Fedor Emelianeko. This hopefully will be a monster of a show. Boss Rutan and Stephen Quadros have returned for the commentary duties on this one, and the attendance for the show was estimated at 22,500. Before we get into our event, what else was happening in the MMA world around this time? Just one day prior to Pride 21, UFC held their 37.5 event called As Real as It Gets at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, Nevada, to a packed house of 3,700 fans.
Jesus.
Ouch.
That's... Wow.
That is, if you're wondering who was the king of MMA at the time, it wasn't the UFC.
No
It
shit.
might be different now, but back then it was not the UFC. While MMA in America was out of the Stone Age, the no rules, no holds barred style events almost completely phased out, along with the ushering in of standardized rules and governing bodies. The sport was in a period of severely reduced interest and viewership in the States, with only a few superstars around to carry the sport forward. UFC 37.5 was a case in point. It featured 6 bouts with only a couple names you might know. Yves Edwards beat Yao Hu Piera via TKO due to injury. Tony Hu Frickland defeated Rodrigo Huas via TKO in the second round. Robbie Lawler defeated Steve Hu Berger via TKO in the second round. Pete Hu Spratt beat Zach Hu Light via submission in the first round. And Benji Hu Radich beat Nick Hu Sarah via decision under the recently implemented 10-point must judging system. The main event was what got the 3,700 butts in the seats, though, as Vitor Belfort took on Chuck Liddell. Chuck won that bout via decision.
I'm still curious. Why would UFC use a half? Like, isn't it an event like? I mean, is a half an event? What?
Yeah, I don't know why they would. Why didn't just make a new event?
No shit. It's like
kind of stupid. Errors and omissions regarding the last episode. First, friend and loved one Rabidi Get, who lives in Brazil, says this: Rio is pronounced Hio.
I read that comment. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You don't trust him?
I'm standing by my maybe ignorant views.
Okay.
But I'm sticking with them because that's the American way.
Yeah, that's right. To be fair, he said, some parts say it a bit more with an R, but especially in Rio, we say it with an H sound. And he assumed we were joking, but yeah, that's it. It was a joke. I guess we should apologize to Quadros. And here I thought Quadros was a dumb cracker who was pandering or was fed some bullshit bogus info. And then second, we've been given some grief to Boss Rutan over the last couple episodes because of the constant alluding and teasing of a Boss Rutan return fight in Pride, and it never happens. Friend and loved one Scott Smith commented that it wasn't Boss's fault. He kept tearing his bicep in training, which kept pushing back on the fight. He noted this about that's Scott Smith: the reason Boss kept tearing his biceps was because he had a herniated disc in his neck that was undiagnosed. By the time it was found and surgically corrected, he had permanent nerve damage. There is all kinds of information about it online. As a physical therapist, it's one of the things I've seen in my career that I've saved people the full function of their leg/arm by doing a thorough assessment, referring the patient back to the surgeon with a note. Boss doesn't deserve the flack for not coming back. He didn't punk out. He got crappy medical care, and it makes me sad as it happens too often that doctors look at MRIs instead of paying attention to symptoms. Thank you very much, Scott, and we apologize, Boss.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's a pretty damn good reason. I'm not gonna lie. If you keep tearing your stuff because you don't know you're tearing it up, the reason you're tearing it up so often.
And I guess Boss Rutan tells the whole story in character in the feature film Here Comes the Pain. I guess I've never really seen the movie. Here Comes
I haven't
the Pain.
either.
That's
Kevin. That should be an interesting special event that we should do.
Yeah, what's his name? Kevin, the fat Kevin
Smith?
No, not Kevin Smith.
I know.
Kevin.
You're talking about Kevin James.
Kevin James, yes. Fat Kevin James is fat. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. Pride 21, Demolition!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, listeners, to you at home, this is the time. We're going to play a drinking game today. Every time Boss says demolition, you drink until you can't feel feelings anymore.
I hope you made note of them. Because I didn't make note.
No,
of
I
it.
didn't. But he says it like 5 times in the first like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right.
So
I'm drunk already.
The official Pride 21 Demolition drinking game. If you watch this on Fight Pass or you have the DVD, pop it in, and you can play this drinking game by yourself or with friends. Have a party. Make that a point, because I assume going by like I don't remember how many times he said it.
No, like in the intro, you're already drunk. Like he's like, demolition, demolition. They're gonna demolish. I'm like, oh my god.
Surprise! It's Quadros. He tells us by the time people in America see this, it'll be time for 4th of July. So this event was delayed by a week before broadcast on pay-per-view in America. Quadros then tries to get Boss's attention, who's wearing construction clothes and has a sledgehammer. They then cover the fights, and Boss says that Don Frye was supposed to fight Mark Coleman, but Coleman got injured and it's been postponed. So he's instead fighting Yoshihiro Takayama. They cover the returning fighters, Ival, Renzo, Alex Stifling, Schilt. Sit back and relax. It's time for the show. We're treated to some very operatic music. Then to the beginning of the show, Quadros says Pride has a special announcement. Pride has officially been licensed in the state of Nevada, so be ready. Pride is coming.
Okay, so 1 second, because I have a whole bunch of notes. We can call them a rant about the intro, because first of all, I found it hilarious. Quadros knows the names of all the girls.
And there's
Give me a torch.
Itomi passing it on to Risa.
You're up to date.
So,
He's probably
Yeah.
smacking on him and getting shot down
Yeah.
with every single one.
yeah. But, so, here's the thing that pissed me off. 2 things. 1, so during the intro, so there's the girls, and they light these torches. And then they walk around. And then all of a sudden, there's a screen, I would say, like in the middle, right? And then it becomes just a fucking display. So I'm like, why are you lighting those torches on fire if it's just gonna go to a goddamn display? It makes no sense. It's stupid. Second of all, I don't know about any of you listeners, but when I think of the word fire, I've never thought of fire damage as demolish.
No.
Fire burns, fire destroys, all this stuff. Demolish, never. And the entire fucking intro is about fire. And I'm like, what the fuck are these people on?
Maybe it was named a Japanese word that can be translated into demolish, but the Japanese word strictly means something about fire. In America, when we think of demolish, we think of like a
building, whatever, or something crumbling.
Right.
Fire, you don't usually go with
I'm trying to think of the word of the construction machine that has the ball.
Wrecking ball.
Yeah, the wrecking ball. You think of that when something being demolished.
Okay, Miley Cyrus.
Like a wrecking ball.
I came in like a rat.
Or like a destruction derby.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the second point I want to make is, how long has Pride by now been playing on the States?
For events?
Yes.
Like on pay-per-view?
Yes.
I think it's been since Pride 14.
Okay, so a decent amount of time,
Yeah.
a decent amount of events, and they still haven't thought of fucking translating the initial announcer?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I mean, you just hear Japanese and Boss and Quadros are just talking something about a fucking Japanese Elvis. Fuck if I know what that fucking conversation was about.
Yeah.
But it's like, Jesus Christ, just translate the shit.
Yeah, they should. I don't think they care enough about the American audience yet. Although I think the American pay-per-view audience would be big enough. And we see here with this announcement that Pride has been officially licensed in the state of Nevada. Be ready, Pride is coming.
That's right, folks. The Pride Fighting Championships have been officially licensed in the state of Nevada, and we are ecstatic about that. We're coming for you, so U.S. fans, get ready.
Not until 2006. That's right. Despite this awesome announcement, Pride would not make it to the States until 2006, at the very end of the promotion's life. Reason for this? If I were to guess, seeing as I couldn't find any gossip or statements, at least on English versions of Google, I would say the passing of Naoto Morishita in 2003 put a kibosh on the whole plan. Morishita was a businessman who would be overseeing the handling of regulations and establishing connections. Once he died, and the Nobu assholes were back in control, that's Nobuhiko Takada and Nobuyuki Sakagabara, well, they didn't want to bother with that bullshit. Quadros and Boss hype up the fact that Pride got a license. Then they spill the beans on Shockwave coming in September at an open-air stadium. They are expecting around 80,000 people to show up for that show. Wow. Then in the ultimate cock tease, we get an opening ceremony with Boss Rutan screaming, "The power of Christ compels you."
The power of Christ compels you.
But we don't get a parade of fighters. Wah, wah. This leads us into our first bout of the evening, which sees a returning Kiyoshi Tamura taking on a returning Bob Sapp.
By the way, quick thing, I almost did it again. I saw Bob Sapp, and I'm like, who does he remind me of?
Oh,
and
boy.
then it dawned on me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you already went through this.
Tamura was 32 years old, and his MMA record coming into this fight was listed at 23-9-3. Bob Sapp, meanwhile, was 28 years old, and his MMA record was 1-0. We last saw Tamura at Pride 19, Bad Blood, where he lost to Vanderlei Silva via KO in his Pride debut, a fight that was for the Pride Middleweight Championship. Bob Sapp, meanwhile, was seen last episode, Pride 20, where he debuted and crushed Norihisa Yamamoto via TKO. Pre-fight, Quadros interviews Sapp, and Quadros asks him if they should establish a jumbo weight class for fighters like him. He says yes.
Moving up into that super heavyweight division, you got Tom Erickson in that division, you got Schilt in that division, and you got some other big guys in that division. Do you think that they should establish a special jumbo weight division for you guys?
Definitely. I think you're going to see it as the big boys come in. I think you're going to see it as more power. You're going to see a lot more intensity and definitely higher knockout ratio with some of the big boys that you've just mentioned.
Quadros and Boss then talk about the fight. Boss says Tamura should stick and move. Right to the ring, Bob Sapp gets hosed down. He has Josh Barnett and Maurice Smith in his corner. The shrunken, super excited ring announcer introduces the fighters, and I just have to say, I love this little fucker.
Bob Sapp.
第1試合を行います青コーナー180センチ 87.5 キロ田村清
The wildly popular Kiyoshi Tamura definitely has his work cut out for him, boss.
200センチ
He's going to be in for a big battle here. That's one thing I can say for sure.
I think the key word there, and it's an adjective.
He's great. Pride has 3 or 4 ring announcers, and I think this guy is either the 3rd or the 4th fiddle. This little guy might be 3rd or 4th fiddle in Pride, but he's 1st fiddle in my heart. And no one knows his name. I've asked. No one knows who this fucking guy is. If you know what this little guy's name is, please share it. Quadros notes that Tamura has opted to not allow knees or kicks to a downed opponent while they're on all 4 limbs, seeing as he's giving up about 120 pounds.
Jesus Christ, man. It's like he's fucking fighting Godzilla.
Yes.
Like, holy shit.
Yes, this is it. Bob Sapp should come out to the Godzilla theme.
He should have.
He should go beat the fuck out of Masaki Satake and say, I'm using that theme now. Good vibe. Any thoughts before we run this fight down?
I mean, giving up 120 pounds. Yeah. This is not like the Manny fight where, you know, it's an opponent that you're not going to get much movement out of. This is 120 pounds of goddamn muscle.
Yes.
So
yeah, and he's got explosive, you know.
Yeah, this is retarded. Yes. This is... I don't see this ending well in any way, shape, or form.
Well, let's do it. Round 1. Tamura rushes in, kicks, then socks Sapp with the right. Bob pushes Tamura back, smacks him with the right, and Tamura falls. Bob then grabs the ropes, bops Tamura with 2. Yuji Shimada seems ready to rush in to stop the fight, but then he doesn't. No one seems to care about Bob grabbing the ropes. Then Shimada is in to stop the fight, and the outside ref finally gets Bob's hands off the ropes. Wow, this one is over already. Bob Sapp winner at 11 seconds in the first round via KO.
And there, Bob Sapp versus Kiyoshi Tamura with a low kick. Bob Sapp coming in and eating a right hook. Sapp gets the right hand and drops Tamura. Tamura's got to keep Bob Sapp off of the fight. Is over. They have thrown in the towel. Wow. A very humane move there by the corner of Kiyoshi Tamura. A two-gigantic right hand while he's on the deck.
Jesus, Tamura crumbled Like the city of Tokyo against Godzilla.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Bob celebrates. Tamura is back up to his feet. They embrace. Tamura looks disappointed, but what did you expect? It'll take a much bigger man to stop Sapp, and Quadros brings us up, saying they are going to quickly run out of opponents, and maybe they need a jumbo weight class. Quadros says the towel was thrown in, but I didn't see it during the fight. He mentioned it at the end of the fight as well. But on the hard camera replay outside the ring, I finally see it. They did throw in the towel. Good vibe. Thoughts on Sapp versus Tamura?
How did anyone think this would be a good fight? How did anyone think this would be a fight?
Yeah.
I mean, listeners, you all know that I hate when it's one-sided. And so this fight was clearly going to be one-sided regardless of anything. It was one hell of an uphill fucking battle for Tamura. I will say this. Pride has learned their lesson. Old Pride, this would have been the main event.
Could you imagine
they would have
that?
thrown this shit as like a late card fucking battle,
yes.
and I would have killed any momentum the event had.
Yes.
Thankfully, they did it as a fucking first fight. This is like a warm up fight. Like
Sure.
you know how now in the WWE they like before the pay per view starts they have like the one or two like shitty fights. This is it. This is that shitty fight that should not have been included in the DVD.
But you could always put on a great opening match that carries the momentum through the rest of the show. You put on a hot match at the beginning and you get the crowd excited. And
this didn't have that potential.
No,
to begin
I don't know
with.
why they are matching Bob Sapp up with these little Japanese men. Maybe they hate these Japanese guys. Maybe they hated Yoshihisa Yamamoto. He was a rings guy. Tamura was a rings guy. They must hate rings, hate anybody that came from under Akira Maeda. Akira Maeda was the guy running rings. And I have no explanation for it. Why?
No, it's brutal. It's all it is.
Yes. This wasn't a good matchup. Why did they make this fight? I give it a 5 out of 10. I'm not sure. I don't know what I would give it. A 5 out of 10. How about that? So what would become of our two knockout knuckers here? We'll next see Sappu at Pride Shockwave 2002 in August, which is 2 episodes away from now. There he takes on heavyweight champ Minotauro Nogueira in what I believe is a non-title bout. As for the venerable Tamura, we'll see him at Pride 23. Championship Chaos 2. That's in November. There he takes on Nobuhiko Takada. Yes, the great one who makes his triumphant return for what will be his last ever MMA bout. Wow, I am looking forward to that one.
Fuck you, Takada. Fuck you.
With a name like Ahmed Lobasanov, boss, you know that this guy is from Russia, and he's going to be facing Big Daddy, Gary Goodridge from Canada. Who do you think is the best-looking fighter in the business?
Besides Bass Rudin? Besides Bass, it'd definitely be me. It'd definitely be me.
Is it because you guys go to the same barber, or?
Yeah, same hairstylist, yeah.
You're one of the more animated people here in Pride. Why do you suppose a lot of the other fighters aren't as animated as you are?
Well, going back to that, you asked me this question a while ago, and I really simply told you because I have a nice ass. I really believe this. And simply because I'm not afraid to let things hang out and tell it the way it is. I'm great, I'm good looking, and that's just the way it is. If anybody has anything to say about it, step in the ring or see me anywhere, then bring it on. But make sure you got at least 20,000 with the US.
It's going to be a real throwdown in that one. Oh, yes. Big Daddy is going to be ready. He just got married here in Japan, but he is back in the house. He's been training very hard with Tom Erickson, so he knows how to defend a takedown. And what we know of Lobasanov is that he's a good wrestler. So Gary probably wants to take this fight, keep this fight on his feet and tried to knock him out.
So Lobasanov, is no secret, is a leg lock expert, but his stamina has been questionable in some of his fights in rings. But rings, not having those punches on the ground, he may get a rude awakening from the Big Daddy with punches.
Oh, for sure. The Big Daddy, did you see his arms? He holds the world Guinness record of arm wrestling. He arm wrestled here in Japan 1,000 people in a row without a break. So the guy got a very good strong arm. He's got a very strong punch. Once he hits you, it's going to be end of the fight.
The next bout of Pride 21 sees the long-awaited return of Gary Big Daddy Goodridge, who takes on newcomer to Pride, Ahmed Lobasanov.
Wait. Did you say Ahmed? I thought his name was Ahmed. Jesus Christ, I really gotta pay more attention.
How many shots had you done at that point?
I'm supposed to keep count.
Gary was 36 years old for this bout, and his MMA record was 15-13-1. His opponent, Ahmed, was 24 years old, and his MMA record was 7-4. We last saw Gary at Pride 26, where he walloped Yoshiaki Yatsu for the second time. Since then, he fought once at the Inoki Bumbeye event in 2001, where he went to a draw with Ebenezer Fontes Braga. Now he welcomes in a Russian opponent. But just who is this Ahmed Lobasanov anyway?
Well, first of all, the friggin' picture when they, like, the title card where they showed, like, the two fighters makes it look like it's just a random fucking Russian guy that they got off the streets. It's like,
right.
Shit, we need someone to fight Gary. Someone call someone in Russia.
Right. He's from Dagestan, Russia. Lobasanov debuted in 1998 at the IAFC Pancration European Championship 1998 on May 23rd. There he beat Denis Shibankov via submission to strikes in the first round. Then at the Pancration Russian Championship of 1999 in April of 99, he beat Zabir Elbiev via TKO due to doctor stoppage in the first round. He then appeared at the Rings King of Kings 1999 tournament opening rounds in October of 99, falling to Lee Hastel via TKO in the second round. He would be back in Rings for some Rings Russia events, including taking on Valentine Overeem at Rings Russia versus the World, where Valentine fell to an Achilles lock. Wow, Valentine Overeem always tapping out to attacks on his legs and feet. Heel hooks, ankle locks. Take care of that shit, Reem. Lobasanov was also at the Rings King of Kings 2000 tournament, but similarly to the 1999 tournament, he fell in the opening rounds, this time to Minotauro Nogueira via armbar. Lobasanov then fought more Russians with hard-to-pronounce names in another IAFC event, that one Pancration Russian Championship 2001. Then in a promotion called BARS, B-A-R-S, and his last fight prior to Pride 21 was at Rings Lithuania, Bushido Rings 3, in November of 2001. There, Lobasanov beat... Why do I do this to myself?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
I put this fucking guy's name in here. Mindaugas Kulinkaskas. He beat him.
It sounds like you're trying to cast it like a fucking voodoo spell.
I don't know how the pronunciation of these Lithuanian. It's a Lithuanian name. Mindaugas Kulinkakas. He beat that guy. Lobasanov beat that guy via decision. I'm not saying his name one more fucking time. And that brings us here.
Wait, what are we talking about?
That brings us here to Pride 21. Pre-fight, Quadros interviews Goodridge and asks him who the best-looking man in MMA is. Besides Boss, Goodridge says himself. Quadros then asks him why he's so animated, and Goodridge says because he just lets things hang out. Boss then provides analysis and brings up Goodridge's 1,000 arm wrestling wins, and we're headed off to the ring.
青コーナー191センチ114キロゲリーゲッター
There he is, Big Daddy Gary Goodridge from Canada.
190センチ106キロラバサノフ
Ahmed Lobasanov.
No walkouts, sadly. Tom Erickson is spied in Goodridge's corner, and we get a look at our Dagestani rings fighter, and we get our first look at Stern Dad, Andrei Kopylov, who will have his one and only fight in Pride at Pride 22.
So, by the way, I I want you to play this audio clip because I love it every time it gets said. We get a return of the world record of arm wrestling.
Holds the world Guinness record of arm wrestling.
The world record references for how many times this has fucking been referenced.
No shit, but it's 1,000 times he beat opponents.
I have
world record.
I put this note in here. Good vibe. Could you find a who does this fighter look like for Ahmed? I couldn't. I tried. He just looks normal.
No, I mean he I wouldn't say normal. He just looks like average Russian. I'll give you that. I will say, however, that it really made an impression on me how old man style he's wearing those shorts because they're almost up to his fucking nipples.
Yes. Yes. All right, well, let's get into it. Round 1. The men feel each other out. Ahmed reaches with a 1-2. Goodridge counters as he slides back. Gary goes in for an inside leg kick, and at the same time, Ahmed throws a left and then over the top right. Jab by Gary. 1-2 by Ahmed. Another leg kick by Goodridge. Ahmed rages in with punches, pushes Goodridge to the ropes. Fires 1, 2, 3. Goodridge clinches, but Lobasanov gets a body lock and muscles him down. According to Quadros, Goodridge said that Bob Sapp is a freak show of a fighter and hasn't begun to crawl yet while everyone else has already graduated.
Gary Goodridge had some interesting things to say about Bob Sapp, who just fought, and he said he's a nice guy, but he did say that he, and I'll quote him, he's a freak show as a fighter. He hasn't even begun to crawl where everyone else is graduated from college. He's an infant, not even close to puberty. Gary Goodridge on Bob Sapp.
Them are fighting words. Sadly, that is a fight that will never happen.
That would have been an interesting fight, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that would have been a good fight.
By the way, I will say this. I really give props to Ahmed because when you look at it, regardless of if the world record shit is true or not, Gary's arm are fucking huge. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think so, but Ahmed went actually on a striking contest with Gary, and I was like, all right, I'll give you some balls on that one.
Goodridge has opened his guard, has half a butterfly, and Lobasanov manages to wiggle into a tall half guard while holding Gary's left leg, and Goodridge himself has hooked Lobasanov's left leg. Ahmed springs a leg lock attempt, but Goodridge is fast to get up and over him. Lobasanov tries to roll, but Goodridge secures guard on top, works the body and head, then wraps up Lobasanov's leg and arm and neck, and wow, what the hell is this? Whatever it is, it doesn't work, and now Goodridge has fallen right into a triangle choke, but Goodridge pops out. He's in side control, puts pressure down on Ahmed's face with a forearm, but not a whole lot of work. Goodridge is recently married, says Quadros. He wants to say hi to his wife and family.
Gary Goodridge would like to say hello to his wife and family. Newly married, Gary was actually married after the last Pride Fighting Championship show here in Tokyo.
That's sweet. 5 minutes down in round 1. Still on the marriage of Goodridge, apparently Boss and Rampage got up and did an impromptu hip-hop rap. Quadros mentions this as though he wasn't there.
It was a lot of fun because I believe you and Quentin Jackson at the reception got up and did an impromptu hip-hop rap. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, it was fun to do.
Which makes me wonder if Goodridge invited this honky to his wedding. Goodridge has moved into my favorite position, freaky mount. He knees twice, then a good one, then he's back into side control. Well, I wondered earlier who Ahmed looked like, and Boss is here to save the day. He says Ahmed looks like Maximus from Gladiator.
Do you think that Lobasanov has seen the movie Gladiator?
He had to be, yeah? I mean, he looks like him.
Maximus.
I'm not sure.
What? What? I mean, Jesus. I gotta drink a lot more to get on that level of fucking.
Well, you have to get as drunk as Boss is for this.
No shit. That's what I'm saying. Gotta drink on that level. Give me a second, boys.
3 minutes left now and still in this position. Occasional work from Goodridge, including knees to the body. Someone from Goodridge's corner tells him to get into the 69.
I mean, I will say this, by the way. So far, especially when they've been on the ground, Gary has been using his weight really well. You can see that he's not spending too much energy and stuff like that. But I did have a question for you. Is choking illegal? Because one of the things that if I was someone like Gary, that I would do is if you take your arm and just shove it onto his neck, if you're especially if you're on top, is that illegal?
A straight forearm choke like that is legal. What's unknown if it was legal, what Tom Erickson did,
No, not the hand choke, but I'm talking the forearm choke.
The forearm chokes are completely
Then
legal.
why the hell is he not trying that? With the weight he has, you don't spend that much energy trying that one. And he had the position right there. I didn't get that.
I'm not really noticing this now, but I've noticed it for a while, and since I don't have anything to write down, I will say that Quadros has become more of a conversationalist instead of a by-the-books play-by-play caller.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's no longer play-by-play.
Yeah.
I mean, they just watch the fight and they just talk about it.
I mean, I know there's not a lot to play-by-play
at
this point in the fight because there's not a lot happening, but he just will start talking about random stuff that's kind of associated with fighting, but not about the fight.
It was Quadros that brought up the wedding thing.
Yeah, the whole
So that's the thing. It's that is more of a boss thing traditionally, but now Quadros is doing it too.
Yes. 1 minute left now, and Quadros and Boss are a bit restless, saying the ref should stand it up. And just like that, Ahmed has sneaked out from under Goodridge and manages to get on top in his guard. He doesn't do a whole lot, and then the bell rings, ending round 1. Any thoughts?
So far, a good fight. Like I said, I am impressed with Gary's... Because one of the things I noticed when Gary got in the ring is that even though his arms still look buff as a motherfucker, he's not like that completely muscled anymore. Like he's toned, but not like completely buff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, Gary usually gasses out within the first 5 minutes. I think he's gonna go longer this time, and he's proven me right, man.
Well, let's see. Round 2. Big left by Lobasanov that just misses. Then a leg kick. Missing high kick from Gary. Then 2 low kicks with a third being countered by Lobasanov. Lots of kicking from Goodridge tonight. The men collide with punches. Ahmed has a body lock and takes Goodridge down. He's in guard. Boss and Quadros talk about the ropes and rules regarding them. Quadros wonders if the 5th, very bottom rope is a new addition, and I think it is.
I think that's new. That must be new.
So you can't slip out.
Because there are 5 ropes there.
They had 4 ropes before, and now there's a 5th, very bottom rope. The ref moves the fighters, and someone yodels. I thought it might have been Gary, but no. Lobasanov looks like he's pissed himself, as his blue trunks are all wet. Ahmed stays active enough, I guess, as Goodridge holds his arms straight out. 2 minutes left in round 2 now. Goodridge's corner loudly heckles, and now Goodridge with a deep, "Come on, hit me!"
Gary's talking.
But Gary's getting punched also.
Yeah, not smart. He's got to work.
Yeah, but he's imploring the guy to hit him.
To which Ahmed does. It's never smart to do, says Boss. 1 minute left now, and now Lobasanov is in half guard, has Goodridge wrapped up, squeezes his neck, crosses his face, but nothing really happens. Then the bell rings, ending round 2. Before the next round, Goodridge is fired up. He wants to go as Lobasanov sits on his stool. The ref holds him back. Lobasanov rises to meet him, but there's still plenty of time remaining in the round break, so the ref sends Goodridge's back.
I was so confused. I'm like, why are you still here, Gary?
Yeah.
Go to your goddamn corner.
Right. Take a breather. Round 3, Goodridge with 2 successive rights. Lobasanov grabs him, takes him down. Quadros complains, saying Goodridge has to work, and says the ref should stand him up after 30 seconds.
Gary's going to lose the fight unless he does something here, because he could talk to Lobasanov, but he's not going to win the fight by talking to him. He's got to do something. He's got to hurt him. He's got to go for a submission. He's got to reverse this position. If I were the referee, I would give him about 30 seconds more in this position, and if they don't land a significant punch or a submission attempt, get them back to their feet.
Loud shouting from Goodridge's corner. Give him a yellow card, Erickson demands.
Well, Gary's corner man, Tom Erickson, is saying, get busy.
Goodridge gets butterflies and tries to force Ahmed over him. Then he gets a leg and manages to put Lobasanov down. Goodridge then gets into side control. Goodridge covers Ahmed's head, tries a punch or two, a knee. Erickson wants him to circle to the 69 and stand up. Goodridge with a club-like right to Ahmed, gets in 2 good knees, just like World Cup soccer, says Goodridge's corner, implying he should stand up and kick him. Goodridge starts to pour it on with punches. 2 minutes left in round 2 now. After a moment, Goodridge lets up on his pressure, and Lobasanov manages to stand. Throws a punch, backs Goodridge up into the corner. Lobasanov's face is looking mangled. Goodridge just gives up and lets Ahmed take him down. He's in full guard. 1 minute left now in our fight. Quadros is imploring Goodridge to do something. Ahmed works a few missing punches, then a few more, and the bell rings, ending our fight. Goodridge raises his arms. He looks gassed. Lobasanov looks equally tired. We'll head over to the judges to learn our result, which is...
ただいまジャッジペーパーを回収中です。しばらくお待ちください。それでは判定の結果をお伝えします。ジャッジ足立、ラバサノフ、ジャッジ三宅、ゲリー。
We're going to have a split decision.
ジャッジバック、ゲリー、予定。
Gary Goodridge has squeaked out a very tough and hard fight. Split decision victory over.
Gary Goodridge, winner via split decision after 3 rounds. The crowd booed when Lobasanov's name was announced, so the crowd was firmly behind Gary Goodridge. I agree with the decision. Lobasanov had the takedowns, but he didn't do anything with them. Goodridge's brother takes off his shirt, and we get an overload of buff black beef. Lobasanov is out of there, and Goodridge then departs. As Quadros mentions, he's fought in Pride 15 times. He wonders if it is a record, and I think we covered this a couple episodes ago. Igor Volchanchin had appeared in the most Prides up until that time. Also, Goodridge meets and greets Hiromichi Momose, ball-capped Yakuza go-between. Good vibe. Your thoughts on Goodridge versus Lobasanov?
It was a good fight. Once again, Gary's amazing, so I'm glad he won. But I will say, like, honestly, we didn't see Gary for a couple episodes, and he did improve a lot, man. Like, he lasted the entire time. He looked gassed at the end of the first round, so I was very surprised when all of a sudden he just, like, pretended to be energetic at the start of the third one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ahmed was fucking dead too, so it's like, at that point, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. I thought it was an okay fight. I was hoping for a more exciting fight, but it wasn't boring. I give it a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two hard hammering hitters here? Gary Goodridge will be back for Pride Shockwave 2002 in August, where he will take on Lloyd Van Dam's half-brother to famous Jean-Claude Van Dam's.
What is his relation to Rob Van Dam?
No relation to him. As for Lobasanov, this would do it for his Pride career as well as his MMA career. He would never fight again and retired to the quiet countryside of Dagestan, raising guinea pigs for food or pets. Happy trails, Ahmed.
I'm here with the Brazilian killer, Alex Stifling. Alex, what's up with the name, man? Alex, the Brazilian killer.
I just thought I'd piss everybody off. I thought it was funny. No, the Brazilians they decided that they had a problem with me first, and so I just, they're the best guys out there, and I want to go after them. So I figured if I pick the fight with them, they'd come after me.
Oh yeah, and now the whole country of Brazil is after you, so it actually worked.
I gotta cancel that trip to Rio.
You've got Alex Stifling, the self-proclaimed Brazilian killer, going up against Anderson Silva from Curitiba, Brazil, one of the best fighters in the Shootbox Academy.
I don't know about the Shootbox Academy. These guys know everything. They're devastating strikers. They know their game on the ground. They know how to take people down. They know how to avoid the takedown. From what I heard here, Anderson Silva is a real tough fighter. So I don't know what Alex is going to do. He took the fight on the short notice, but he's been training hard too. He's a very good submission guy. He's been training hard, very hard on striking. Okay, and the keys to success in this fight, you think it's going to be stand up or it's going to be the ground?
For me, the key to success is just simply going to be, since I haven't had as much time to train on this one, is the conditioning. And when my condition fails, I'm going to have to gut it out. I'm going to have to use my heart and I'm going to have to use my spirit to get this one done, because this guy's not going to quit. I know that. He's not going to quit training.
Okay, now last question. I want you to react on the name actually, Mrs. Rose.
Mrs. Rose. Mrs. Rose is the most beautiful kindergarten teacher I've ever seen in my life. They call her the fairy teacher. And as soon as I get back to LA, I'm going to be taking boss's kids to school every day and volunteering there for the lunch lady duty and all that stuff, just to get a look at her.
So what do you think? Actually, what do you hope that Mrs. Rose thinks of you?
Oh, She wants to shag.
Shag you rotten.
Shag me rotten.
And now for the third match. 青コーナーよりアンデルソン・シーバ選手の入場です。
Okay, and look who I have joining me at ringside, but none other than the babyface assassin, UFC heavyweight champion, Josh Barnett. Welcome to the broadcast, Josh.
In the blue
I'm very pleased to be here.
And Josh will be working with me here at ringside because Masrud is going to be cornering Alex Stifling in place of Psychosem, Alex's trainer who couldn't make it here. Josh, this man coming in the ring, Anderson Silva from the Shootbox Academy, comes from a strong heritage of strikers who can grapple.
I agree. And it's been really evident that they've been able to adapt their Muay Thai style to specifically no holds barred and make it work really effective, not to mention they're pretty good dancers.
Yeah, pretty good dancers indeed. Look at this guy. Is he going to fall down to some breakdancing? I don't think so because that rail is... look at this.
Go, Anderson. It's your birthday.
Well, that's a great warm-up. Instead of maybe doing a wide crew, you could do the Michael Jackson.
Why not?
Anderson Silva ordinarily competes at 170 pounds, and he was the first man ever to beat Hayato Sakurai and take away his Shuto title. They say he's got the best jab in mixed martial arts.
And, I would almost be inclined to agree with him because that jab of his...
赤コーナーよりアレックス・スティーブリング選手の入場です。
And I'm telling you, there's some serious fire in the air about this man. Uh-oh, am I in Bangkok or am I in Tokyo?
Oh, uh-oh. You better step in the ring, huh?
He's coming out to Thai classical music. Obviously a tribute to his trainer, Psychosim, who's not here, but Masrud is. And look at him, he's coming out with a wide crew, he's got the robe, he's got everything.
He is geared to go. Maybe we're going to see kind of a Thai fight out here if maybe he wants to keep it on the feet the whole time.
Or it may just be a smoke screen for it. Maybe Anderson Silva's thinking, oh, he's going to do a Thai fight, and he might just come out and just shoot right away, and Anderson probably's going to think because of the whole, Muay Thai get-up.
Yeah, exactly.
On to the third fight of the evening, which sees the return of Alex Stifling taking on newcomer to Pride, Anderson Silva. Alex was 25 years old, and his MMA record coming into this bout was 12-1-1 and 1 no contest. Anderson Silva from Brazil was 27 years old, and his MMA record was 8-1. Alex, the Brazilian Killer, is back for some more Brazilian killing action, this time against future all-time great. But just who is Anderson Silva? Born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Anderson lived in poverty, practicing jiu-jitsu with neighborhood kids before picking up Taekwondo and Muay Thai. He is also a comic book nerd and would cite Spider-Man as one of his personal heroes. In June of 1997, he made his MMA fighting debut at BFC 1, that's Brazilian Fighting Circuit. It was a welterweight tournament, and Anderson beat his first opponent, Raimundo Pinheiro, in quick fashion with rear naked choke. Then in the second and final fight of the tournament, he fought Fabricio Camoes, the bout going for over 24 minutes. Fabricio eventually became exhausted, and Anderson was declared the victor via TKO. Anderson would take a few years off, and his next fight came at Mecca World Valley 201 in May of 2000, fighting Luis Alvarez, a fight that went to decision, which fell in Alvarez's favor. The rest of 2000 through the beginning of 2002 saw Anderson win all of his 6 bouts, which included beating Hayato Sakurai, who was at the time undefeated Shuto middleweight champion, with a record of 18-0-2. That fight happened at Shuto to the top 7 on August 26, 2001. And the fight...
Did they get to the top?
I assume they did. And the fight went to a decision, which Anderson won, becoming the new Shuto middleweight champion. Anderson would never defend that title, though, vacating it after signing with Pride. Just prior to Pride 21 here, Anderson fought Ron Carneiro at Mecca World Valley 206 on January 31st, 2002, a fight that Silva won via submission to punches, and that brings us here to Pride 21. Pre-fight, Alex gets interviewed by Boss Rutten, who asks him about his Brazilian Killer nickname. He explains that he just uses it to piss off the Brazilians, who started beef with him first. I said it before, Alex seems like a good kid. Later, Boss asks him about a mysterious Mrs. Rose, who apparently is the apple of Alex's eye. No fucking clue what this is all about. Boss reveals that Alex took this fight on short notice, and we've heard this too many times to recall. Took the fight on short notice. This practice is a double-edged sword. It can make for great fights, but it is a huge detriment to the fighter taking the fight on short notice. In the end, it's not good, but what can you say? It was part of the secret formula to Pride. You take a little steroids, mix it in with some short notices, throw in some giant freaks, and you get profit? Thank the Lord Almighty, we get walkouts and a surprise guest at the commentary booth. The baby-faced assassin, Josh Barnett, has joined Quadros.
Oh, I thought that was Patrick Swayze. After a bad night drinking.
Who does he look like? And Boss Rutten has apparently left so he can corner Alex Stifling.
So, quick question about the walkout. Is Alex part of the Cobra Kai school?
Barnett is introduced as the UFC heavyweight champion, but I am pretty sure that title had already been stripped from him due to a positive PED test result. And positive, in this regard, is not a good thing. Anderson comes out first, and the crowd rises as Vanderlei Silva appears behind him. They love Silva despite him killing their dreams. Anderson does a glorious jig on his way to the ring. Wow, it's amazing. God bless Anderson Silva. Once in the ring, Anderson does the wrist exercise that Vanderlei does, getting some awes from the crowd.
I agree. Hey, he's doing the Vanderlei thing. He's doing it fast, though.
Alex Stifling comes out to some classic Thai music and dressed as a Thai kickboxer. The crowd isn't sure what to make of it. The music sounds like bad Iraqi porn.
Yeah, no, it's like, well, fucking Quadros is going weird on this one because it's like, are we back in like Hong Kong or some shit like that? It's like, what the fuck are you going on?
It doesn't sound like any type of Hong Kong music.
No.
It sounds like a weird, like I said, weird Middle Eastern porn.
Yeah, no, it
music.
does. It does.
Horrible.
So that's why I was so confused when he fucking said that.
But it's pretty cool nonetheless, I guess. Quadros and Barnett talk about how it's not a good idea to rile up the Brazilians. 2.5 days notice is how long Alex was offered this fight. I say if you keep yourself in fighting shape, fight any day, anytime, any place.
The summary, the abbreviation.
The Cliff Notes version of White Group.
Right. In parentheses, to boot. Anderson Silva came into this fight at 187 pounds. He's as lean can be, Josh.
Yes, he is. One advantage he has, at least in moving up in weight, is that he is incredibly tall at his previous weight class. So I don't know if height will be much of a problem. But
there's an announcement made in Japanese to which the crowd cheers. Quadros is no fucking help.
Brazilian killer in the front of his trunks. Once again, when he's got Muay Thai trunks, is he going to try and stand up Anderson Silva?
he might be inclined to feel like he's got something to do. So I think we're at least going to see a little bit of a throwdown.
I know what that announcement was. And I'm going to help you here, listeners. Okay. Because it is time for our favorite game. Who does he look like?
That's why the crowd was cheering.
Yes, they were. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, today's first contestant, Silva. And he looks like, this is going to be a strange one, Spike Lee.
What?
Spike Lee, man. He looks like Spike Lee.
Okay, maybe in the eyes.
I'm calling, no, like face, man. Like just face in general.
Yeah, but see, Anderson Silva's bald and he has, he does have the
goatee. Yeah.
Yeah, but Spike Lee has the...
Why? Yeah, of course. Yes, he has hair. Yes, dear listeners, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fool you all. Spike Lee is not actually in the ring. Apparently, I need to clarify that to people like the most dangerous man alive today.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I thought that's why I called the segment "Who does he look like?" Not, "Hey, could this person be this twin?" No, it's like.
All right. Stifling has Brazilian Killer on the front of his trunks, which is super trolling. A good vibe. Any thoughts before we go into this?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When they did the little like close to face off, I'm like, these two people right here would be awesome in a body cop film.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That is true.
Like the next Chris Tucker and Owen Wilson kind of shit.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Time for the fight, round 1. The men feel each other out. Quadro says this is like a traditional Thai fight, where apparently nothing happens for a full 2 rounds.
They're starting like a traditional Thai fight. Usually in Thailand, they give away the first 2 rounds as the feel-out round, and the busy rounds are the 3rd and 4th round. But this is the Pride Fighting Championships.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Is he sure?
Who would go see a traditional fight, Muay Thai fight, if nothing's happening for 2 fucking rounds?
Yes.
Like, oh, Muay Thai fight is gonna start. I'm gonna go get some
beer,
popcorn,
take a piss.
Beer. I'll be back by the 3rd fucking round. By the way, I forgot to mention that fucking Stifling's shorts make him look Irish. Because they're like hella green.
Oh. There's a high kick attempt by Silva. Alex teases pulling the trigger several times. Anderson comes in with a right. Alex tries the block, but gets pegged with a left. Light 1-2 by Alex. Silva strikes back, then Alex tries again. Silva counters with a nice 1-2. Alex throws a leg kick. Silva counters with a high kick that cracks him right in the face. Alex instinctively catches the leg and takes Anderson down. Alex's face looks bloody as he works to pass guard, but he gets pushed away briefly. Anderson rolls for an arm, then the ref halts the fight to take a look at Alex's cut.
Holy shit. Dear listeners, Stifling looks like he literally just went down on a girl in her period.
Oh, fuck.
Like, holy shit. Blood everywhere.
Oh, yes. After a brief moment, the ref signals it's over. The bell rings and Stifling immediately takes his trunks off. The Brazilian killer is no more, it would seem.
I was going to say, I have a note here. I'm like, wow. He literally dropped trout after losing.
Yes.
I've never been able to relate to a fighter so much.
Anderson Silva, winner via TKO due to doctor stoppage. Due to cut at 1 minute 23 seconds of the first round.
He's got some good, accurate punches there.
Straight down the pipe.
Sort of like a mixed martial arts version of Tommy. Oh, left kick! Alex underhooks. Stiebling on top in the guard. We saw that now. Okay, Stiebling is cut. Stiebling is cut. And it was from punches. The doctor's looking at Stiebling. Oh, that's a nasty, nasty cut. The fight is over!
Wow.
The fight is over!
One kick and it's...
Quadros talks to Josh Barnett about coming over to Pride and considering he just beat Randy Couture if he would like to fight Nogueira.
So let me ask you, Josh, how do you like the experience here at the Pride Fighting Championships?
I love it. It has been incredible from start to finish, and they've treated me very well. The fans are really into it, really knowledgeable, and the fights have been excellent so far.
Well, you are definitely one of the top 5 heavyweights in the world. I mean, I think that your victory over Randy Couture proved that you're the real deal. Any designs of the Pride Heavyweight Championship?
It's definitely in my eye. That's the next step.
Vanderlei takes off his shirt, throws it to the crowd. Anderson shakes the hand of Naoto Morishita, Dream Stage Entertainment president. We get a peek at Lenny Hart sitting next to Kay Grant. Quadro says goodbye to Barnett, and then we're off to the next fight. Good vibe. Your thoughts on Anderson versus Alex?
I mean, it was kind of weird because it started off so slow. I thought it was going to be I'm like, is this a fight or a dance-off? And then they started fighting. It was pretty cool. And then that knee landed. And it's like, when they do the replay, it's like, that knee was fucking brutal. I'm surprised he's still charged in with the damage that knee should have done. So you know what? Even though it was a quick fight, I liked it.
This one had just barely got started, but I did not like what I was seeing from Stifling. He looked pretty timid and maybe even intimidated by Anderson. He didn't have the confidence like when he fought Valid Ismail or Alan Goes. So I don't think it was going to end well for him either way. But we get a glimpse of the casual greatness of Silva. Casual in the sense that he effortlessly dispatches opponents with grace. I give this one a 5 out of 10. So what would become of our 2 sweet chin music kickers here? Anderson Silva will make a quick return at Pride 22 in September to take on returning super heel Alexander Otska. Otska may or may not still have a giant lump on the side of his head for that fight.
Jesus.
As for Stiebling, we'll see him again at Pride 25 in March of 2003, his last Pride appearance. There he takes on Akira Soji. We'll see you boys then.
All right, listeners, I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to ask the most dangerous man alive today, how drunk is he right now? because he literally just gave the same rating to a shitty fight between Sapp and Tamura to this fight.
No.
You literally gave them both 5 out of 10s.
No, I said
5 out of 10s. That's what I'm going with.
You weren't paying attention when I gave the score to Sapp versus Tamura. I said 5 out of 10. I guess. I don't know. I didn't know what because it was an 11-second fight.
Walking back his shit when he gets called out on it. Typical white person.
In this next one, we've got Jeremy Horn from the USA versus Gilbert Hurricane Ival from Holland.
Oh, yes. This is going to be one of the best fights of the night. That's what I feel, what I think about it. Gilbert has been working on submissions a lot. He's a devastating striker. Jeremy Horn is the submission artist. He's also improving constantly on striking. But for him, in order to win the fight, I think he's got to take the fight to the ground. But we also have a little bit of a difference here between being a good guy and between being a bad guy.
A number of fighters have stated on the record and even during a Pride broadcast, they think that you are a dirty fighter and that you are a bad guy. What's your opinion of that?
Yeah, that's stupid. Why am I a bad fighter? Why? Tell me why.
No, I'm not asking you.
Yeah, but why? Because I was fighting and my finger slipped in somebody's eye. There's the more versatile things in life than that. You know what I think? They're afraid of me because the only one who ever submit me in a fight is Igor Volchansky. And I was on the ground with what's his name, Don Frye. I almost got him in an armbar. I think they're a little bit afraid of me, you know, like shit, when we go, we don't want to stand up with him because he's hitting hard, kicking hard, punching hard, doing everything. And on the ground, he's difficult to submit. So I think they're a little bit afraid, talking trash about me, and yeah, I know they don't like me because I'm a very nice guy. I'm a really nice guy.
Do you think he's going to be relatively unpredictable in the ring with you?
I think that's an understatement. He's really wild, really aggressive, and always unpredictable.
What is your prediction on what problems he will present to you?
I don't know. I mean, he's a pretty diverse guy. I guess he's got a lot of things he could cause problems with. He's jumping knees and wild, aggressive punches are always hard to deal with. He's real hard to hold on to on the ground, and you never know, I guess, what his mentality is going to be like in the fight either. He tends to get wild sometimes.
To you, what does the yellow card mean?
Another trophy.
Another trophy?
Yeah, another trophy.
Do you think that you are the world yellow card champion?
Oh, good. Then it's going to be in championships. I'm going to be the #1 for sure. For sure. Yeah. I think so.
Okay, you're fighting Jeremy Horn. What's the game plan?
Hurt him.
How?
Finger in his eye or something, I don't know.
Gilbert does have that bad boy reputation. Do you think that intimidates Jeremy Horn at all?
I don't think at all. Jeremy Horn is somebody who's just going to his job. This is his work. He's not intimidated by anybody. He's just going there. He's just there to fight. I saw him in a tough man competition on TV, actually. He just does that for fun. He goes to a tough man competition and just sees how it is to box for 3 rounds against people. You know, the guy just loves to fight.
On to the fourth bout of the evening, which sees a returning Jeremy Horn taking on a returning Gilbert Ival. Horn was 26 years old and his MMA record was 55-11-4. Gilbert, meanwhile, was also 25 years old and his MMA record was 26-8 and 1 no contest. We last saw Jeremy Horn back at Pride 18 where he beat Akira Soji via decision. Since then, he's fought 3 times. First at UCC 7, Bad Boys. That's Ultimate Cage Combat, I believe. That event took place in January of 2002, and Jeremy KO'd his opponent, Stephen Potvin, with a slam. Then at Ultimate Wrestling, Horn versus Wilkin in March of 2002. Horn fought Wilkin. as the marquee on the fucking sign outdoors said. Greg Wilkin, that is, and beat him in the second round via rear naked choke. Then, just before Pride 21, Jeremy fought Steve Fun at Ultimate Cage Combat 1 in May of 2002. Jeremy beat the Master of Fun via armbar. Sorry, fight fans, no videos for any of these fights, so just use your imagination. As for Gilbert, we last saw him at Pride 16 back in September 2001, where he attacked John Frye's John
Frye. That's Don Frye look-alike. Not twin, of course, but look-alike.
Where he attacked Don Frye's eyes. He was DQ'd for his fouls.
Wait, I got a better one. John Frye. It's Don Frye when he shaves his mustache and pretends to be the good twin.
Yes. Since his last appearance, Ival's fought twice. First at M1 MFC, Russia versus the World 2 in November of 2001. Gilbert fought Ibrahim Magomedov and beat him via rear naked choke. Then in March of 2002, Gilbert fought at Too Hot to Handle 4, simply the best 2. His opponent was Dirty Bob Schreiber. The third time those two men had fought each other, and both men held one victory over the other. Well, the trilogy fight saw Gilbert win via doctor stoppage. Interesting note about this event, Too Hot to Handle 4. It featured both Boss and Quadros on commentary.
You know, Bob is not going to quit. He will not quit.
No, he's not going to quit.
No way. Oh, the fight is over. They called the fight. You know what? It's a good call.
I think so too. He barely gets see.
And Bob is not complaining.
No.
I guess Pride let him go and do other shows. I don't know why they would, but they did. Pre-fight, Quadros talks with Ival and asks him why he thinks people say he's a bad guy. He demands Quadros tell him why people think that.
Why?
Quadros says, no, I'm asking you. Ival says people are afraid of him and that he's actually a really nice guy. Also, Ival says he thinks the yellow cards is another trophy. That's pretty funny. Then we get to hear from Sloth himself, Jeremy Horn, who says he wonders what type of mentality Gilbert will have in the fight. No walkouts for this one, and I don't think we'll get walkouts for the rest of the show, save for the main event. There are reasons, which I won't spoil for now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is not me peeing. It's me serving myself another drink. But it's a very special time right now. Very special to everybody out there. We're going to play a double dose of Who Does He Look Like?
Whoa.
Double dose.
Double dose.
Frickin' a dose.
Upgrade.
A gentleman who goes by the name Upgrade, which he spells thusly. With 2 D's, as he says, for a double dose of this pimping.
Yes. So we're going to start off nice, simple. We're going to start with Ival. And who does he look like? Listeners, I'm going to give you like 2 seconds to try to guess.
Soccer player. Is he a soccer player?
No, not a soccer player. He looks like a tall Kevin Hart. And a very special edition of Who Does He Look Like? And by the way, listeners, sometimes I'll see these fighters before, and it doesn't click in my head. It doesn't. Like, I see them, I'm like, yeah, maybe. Or there's some fighters that I keep saying it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm pretty sure Most Dangerous Man Alive today has done a montage of that before. But this one is a very special edition. It's the referee edition of Who Does He Look Like? And I saw this referee, and it clicked in my head. I'm like, bam. Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911.
Okay.
Fucking clone at this point.
Didn't we? Is this the J. Jonah Jameson looking ref?
Yeah, but he colored his hair, like he styled it differently, so he's not as J. Jonah looking anymore.
Right. He does look like the
Lieutenant Dangle. Yeah, especially with the outfit. I was like, oh my god.
We're in the ring. We get introductions.
He is the Hurricane, folks. Gilbert Ival from the Golden Glory team in Amsterdam, Holland. Lucian Carbine is his trainer. Jeremy Horn
Both men look in similar shape, a little soft. Horn surprisingly looks like the bigger man. Geezer tidbit time. Gilbert Ival was 7 days shy of his 26th birthday. Good vibe. Thoughts on this before we run it down?
I mean, it's kind of... I don't, like I said, I don't know much about the fighters, so I just assume it's going to be a nice even fight.
Then let's do it. Round 1. The bell rings. Ival fires a leg kick. Jeremy catches it, twirls Gilbert around, who tries to stay upright into the ropes. Gilbert briefly grabs the ropes, then Jeremy spins him to the mat. He's on top in full guard. Jeremy works distracting back fists to the head, then to the body. Gilbert seems pretty calm. Quadros is already calling for a restart.
They've got to restart it. Yeah.
It's been like 10 seconds, Quadros. Gilbert tries the move and ends up putting them right in a corner. Jeremy starts to posture up. Gilbert slides under him and Jeremy is up to his feet. Gilbert kicks him away, goes to stand. Jeremy grabs his neck as he does, and wow, Horn powers Ival right down. He crawls into mount. Horn tries to set up an arm triangle choke, but he loses it.
I mean, at this point, I'm just going to tell Ival to at least be subtle about the rope grabbing.
Yes.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Jeremy falls to side control, goes for a knee to the head. Gilbert tries to stand, but Horn has a body lock and takes him right back down. Horn is totally stifling here. The frustration in Ival has to be growing. 5 minutes down in round 1. Horn is back into mount. Gilbert turns under him. Horn wraps in his hooks and tries for a rear naked choke. Jeremy, though, with sloppy control as he inadvertently allows Ival enough space to spin, and now Ival is on top. He punches, gets to his feet, punches more, then straight up grabs the ropes for leverage to deliver a hard soccer kick. He stomps Horn right down the pipe, but Horn goes for the foot for a leg lock. Ival grabs the ropes and tries to block his eventual fall, but in a hilarious moment, the ref aggressively rips Ival's hand free and falls with the men to the mat.
Where the fuck is the yellow card?
Yes.
Not only has he been grabbing the ropes, now he's grabbing the refs too. Because he took the ref down with him. Yes. It's like, Jesus.
And in his pre-fight interview, he said, because he gets yellow cards so much, he says he thinks the yellow cards are trophy as a sarcastic joke.
Yeah.
But this was totally a yellow card.
Like, especially because
he held the ropes for leverage to get more power.
Yeah, that soccer kick, like right there, that should have been a yellow card. Plain and simple. Stop it, give him a yellow card, let him continue.
It totally deserved it. I don't know why it didn't happen. Horn is on top, moves the half guard, traps the left arm, goes for a knee. Gilbert tries to stand. Horn controls the neck, puts him back down. 3 minutes left in round 1. Ref moves the fighters to the center. Nothing happens for about a minute before Gilbert reverses Horn. He's on top. Horn controls Ival's right wrist. First goes for a Kimura, then maybe sets up a triangle choke, then flips Ival over and he's back on top and mount. Beautiful work. He tries punches. Gilbert bucks, gets loose. They stand. Horn shoots. Ival sprawls, but Horn has the leg and gets him down. 1 minute left now. Gilbert holds the neck. His left ear has popped, and a stream of blood is across his forehead. Ival wants a rematch with Frye, according to Quadros or Boss, one of them. I didn't write it down. He says that Frye looks like one of the village people.
Part 2 on the Gilbert Don Frye situation. Both men want a rematch with each other. And Gilbert had this to say about Don. He said he really looks like one of the village people.
That's funny. Horn goes for a leg lock. Ival kicks and punches him. Horn kicks back. Ival then grabs the ankle. The men scramble up. Gilbert, I hope that's right. Gilbert takes him down. They roll. Horn is on top. Then the bell rings, ending round 1. Well, that one really got interesting. A quick 10 minutes, I thought. Time for round 2. The bell rings. Both men kick. Horn goes for the legs. They spin down to the mat. Horn tosses Ival over him in a very near John Cena-like FU, aka the AA. This is Jeremy Horn, folks. Use your imagination. His AA is pathetic, okay? Horn is in half guard. He doesn't do much and has lazy control, which leads to Gilbert to suddenly reverse him. Gilbert punches, is off Horn, boots him in the head, steps away to force Horn to stand. 1-2 by Horn to set up a takedown. Eventually he gets Ival down. He's back on top in half guard, then mount. Ival tries to push him off, but ends up giving up his back. Horn flattens him out, tries a choke, then Gilbert gives...
Well, 1 second, because I found it really hilarious, because at one of these times that he has him on the back, he has his back guard, the pose Ival has, like, because he's like leaning on his elbow, it almost looks like he's talking on the phone. So it looks like one of those like fucking discount porn videos where the guy's behind her and the girl's just like talking on the phone like nothing's happening. Because that's exactly his face. Like Ival's face is like Ival doesn't care that he just gave up back guard.
Yes. Gilbert then turns to give up mount. 2 minutes left in round 2. Well, not much happens in this position. Light work by Horn. Down to 1 minute. Horn is in half guard now. More of the same. Then side control. Mount. Some punches. And the bell rings, ending round 2. Alistair Overeem can be seen in Gilbert's corner, and Quadros hypes him up.
We've got Gilbert with Mark DeBeard and Alistair Overeem, and getting toweled off there by Lucian Carbine. Alistair there in the background with the Freon hair.
Yeah, new talent also.
Alistair Overeem, one of the rising stars out of the Holland mixed martial arts scene.
Let's see how this one ends. Round 3. Gilbert completely telegraphs a knee, but Horn doesn't see it. They clinch. Horn falls, but Gilbert steps away to force the ref to stand him up. Horn preempts another knee with a high kick attempt. Falls for Ival's right leg, but loses it and is on the mat. Ival comes in for another raging knee. Horn pushes for a takedown. Ival defends, but they roll, and Horn winds up on top. Horn is in a high half guard, passes the full side control, then goes for mount, but that's the extent of the action. Small punches from both men here and there. Gilbert manages to buck and turn Horn over. Don't forget, folks, the Pride Fighting Championships has been licensed in the state of Nevada.
Don't forget, folks, the Pride Fighting Championships has been licensed in the state of Nevada. Yes, that means Las Vegas. And we are totally excited about that. It's a real big step for mixed martial arts. And also, don't forget to tune in pay-per-view for the greatest martial arts spectacular.
Quadros does not want us to forget this. Quadros goes on to show some more Pride stuff, but the fight gets in the way as the men get to their feet, and Ival knees Horn. Horn goes for the leg, eats a knee, and manages to get Ival down. Now that the fight is slowed down again, Quadros goes back to shilling for Pride.
No, maybe not. Horn gets the takedown. As I was saying before, folks, on pay-per-view. And we're not going to tell you a lot of details. We're going to let it be a surprise, but I can guarantee you this. It's going to have 80,000 people in Japan at the Tokyo National Stadium.
Bitch, are you for real?
1 minute left now in round 3. I missed the 2-minute call somewhere. Horn is in half guard, then down to full guard. Gilbert bats his head with little punches. Horn bats back. Gilbert gets freaky with furious little punches. Then Horn passes the side control and the bell rings, ending round 3. Quadros and Boss don't know who won. So we'll head to the judges to learn the result of the fight, which is...
Judge Mato, Jeremy.
For Jeremy.
Judge Anachi, Jeremy.
Jeremy Horn has out-grappled Gilbert Ivan, won a unanimous decision. But I got to tell you, this in a way is not a setback for Gilbert Ivan.
Not at all.
Because, like I said,
Jeremy Horn, winner via unanimous decision. Quadros says this loss is a victory for Ival, in a way. Horn gets his trinkets of victory. Gilbert leaves with a giant yellow card. Where'd he get that at? Staples? How does
It's a giant fucking piece of cardboard, man. You can get that anywhere.
Yeah, but it looked like it's custom made. Then we're off to the next fight. Good Vibe, your thoughts on Ival versus Horn?
I mean, this was the closest thing we'll get to a wrestling match. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But you know what? You listeners know that ground fights are not my shit. But I like this one. Why? Because it was active. There was a shit ton of reversals. Like, you know, you couldn't go a minute with the same person being on guard. So I liked it. It was a really good fight.
It was okay. It wasn't completely boring. It was kept interesting enough, but Horn only used his submissions to control Ival. He didn't use them to try to finish the fight. His ground and pound leaves a lot to be desired. Ival just wants to stand up and bang, but only a fool would fight him at his own game. Horn had his game plan, and it worked. I give it a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two Jeremy Horny humpers here? It'll be a while before we see Gilbert Ival again, not until 2005 at Pride, Bushido 6 in April 2005. There he takes on Iko Hisa the Punk Minowa. As for Jeremy Horn, it'll be an even longer time until we see him again, like forever, because this was the last time he appeared in Pride. After Pride 21, Jeremy would go 35, 11, 1, and 1 no contest through the rest of his assumed career, bringing his record total to 91, 22, 5-1 no contest, with his last fight coming in November of 2015. Between his last fight in 2015 and Pride 21, Jeremy would make Chael Sonnen his bitch, beating the shit out of Chael 3 times, first at EC 57, that's Extreme Challenge 57 in May of 2004, where Horn cut Chael with a swipe of his pinky. A cut so bad they had to stop the fight.
Wait, was that like his fucking cocaine pinky? Jesus, how do you do a cut that deep with a goddamn pinky?
Because Jeremy Horn's such a fucking badass, all right?
Jesus Christ.
Then at SF6 Battleground in Reno, Horn choked Chael unconscious with little effort. Then at UFC 60 in May of 2006, the UFC event where Matt Hughes toppled an old Royce Gracie, Jeremy made Chael tap like a bitch with an armbar in the second round. Wow, Horn owned Chael, literally. Other notable bouts for Jeremy included Anderson Silva at Gladiator FC Day 2 in June of 2004, a decision loss. Chuck Liddell at UFC 56 in August of 2005, a TKO loss. Nate Marquardt at UFC 81 in February 2008, a guillotine choke loss. And that's about it. Jeremy was great at beating up your next door neighbor who wants to try MMA, and Chael Sonnen, but not so great at beating anyone else. And I'm not talking shit. I like Jeremy Horn, and he's awesome, especially at kicking Chael Sonnen's ass. Like, Chael is a red-headed stepchild. But let's be real. Jeremy just couldn't get past a certain level of fighter. Jeremy's last fight in 2015 was at SCS 28 Shockwave, that Sugar Creek Showdown, held at the Sugar Creek Casino in Oklahoma. Jeremy lost via submission to punches against a man whose name was designed to give me anxiety, Egidius Valavicius. Jeremy was 40 years old for that fight, and it may be his last, but you never know. Godspeed, Jeremy.
Enzo, you're fighting Shungo Aoyama. What problems is he going to present?
Here we are again. I really don't know what kind of problems he can bring, but I know he can bring a lot of problems. And I hope I'm ready to deal with them.
Renzo Gracie versus Shungo Aoyama. Brazil versus Japan. Now, Gracie comes from a jiu-jitsu background, but Shungo Aoyama trained with you, boss.
He did, but he trained only 2 times with me, and I taught him only a right straight. And what do you know? His next fight, he knocked the guy out with a right straight. So if he got taught by somebody else with a left hook or a liver shot, and he really trained on it, this guy can be a big problem for Renzo.
Yeah, but what Shungo Aoyama has really got is athleticism. But what Gracie has got is beautiful jiu-jitsu skills, and he's got recently upgraded stand-up skills. So I think Gracie is going to take this one.
Who do you think is your biggest threat in a future match in Pride?
I believe everybody's getting so good now and so well prepared. Everybody's a tough fight. You can't say that you're going to get in there and get an easy fight. And as a fighter, I don't believe I can pick someone up. I believe all of them are very hard, and anyone that the promoters put in the ring with you, it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Okay, I have one name, and I want you to say whatever you want after I say the name. Alex Stifling.
Oh, the Brazilian killer. I would love to match up with him, definitely. You know, I asked Pride to maybe set me up with him, but it was a little, they said that maybe in the near future. And maybe he has one more Brazilian to kill, and it will be a pleasure to be facing him across the ring.
On to the 5th bout of Pride 21, which sees a returning Shungo Aoyama taking on a returning Renzo Gracie. Shungo was 28 years old and his MMA record was 1-3. His last fight at Pride 15 in June of 2001 was against Valid Ismail, a losing effort for him, and he hasn't fought since then. That's a year layoff. Renzo, meanwhile, was 35 years old, and his MMA record was 10-3, 1-1 no contest. Renzo was last seen at Pride 17 in November of 2001 against Michiyoshi Ohara. A fucking awful fight. A winning effort for him, and he hasn't fought since then. Literally one of the worst fights ever. Pre-fight, Quadros asked Renzo what kind of problems Shungo might present. Renzo really doesn't know what kind of problems he can bring, but he also knows that he can bring a lot of problems. Renzo was then given a sticker for being able to spell his own name. Later, Renzo says he would love a matchup with Alex Stifling. And I will note, Renzo looks like a total badass in his versus screen picture. No walkouts, right to the ring. Kay Grant is in the ring to introduce the fighters.
Getting rid of his gi now.
Aoyama.
That was a big surprise.
178センチ
He kept it on.
84.5 キロ Renzo Gracie!
Renzo Gracie has been described as the greatest fighter in the Gracie family. A lot of people think that Hickson is also. But Renzo is probably the most active fighter in the Gracie family, for sure, as far as mixed martial arts.
Yes, and he fought everybody. He takes every fight.
Quadros says that Renzo has been described as the greatest fighter in the Gracie family. Geezer tidbit. Shango turned 28 a month earlier on April 11th. Aoyama chant breaks out, I assume, as the men stare down.
Lost to Dan Henderson, and he won his last fight in not a terribly exciting fight against Michiyoshi Ohara. Renzo Gracie, a former two-time world champion in Abu Dhabi and also a two-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion in 1993-94. Renzo's about 180.
Good vibe. Any thoughts before we run this fight down?
All right, well, first of all, we're going to keep this mood going for this show. We're going to do another.
Whoa.
What does he look like?
For Christ's sake, will you just shut your trap?
I also don't know if I've already said this one before, listeners. I have really shitty memory. I drink a lot. But our good old boy Gracie here, I looked at him today as they were facing off, and I'm like, this man right here looks like Asif Manvi from The Daily Show.
Asif Manvi.
Yes.
I'll have to look
Asif.
Well, let's do it. Is that all?
Yeah, that's fucking
Okay.
it.
Let's do it. Round one, they touch. Pointless spinning back kick from...
And I already hate Aoyama.
Yes.
Literally,
Yeah.
I already want him to lose. He's one of those cocky motherfuckers that's cocky for doing absolutely nothing.
Yes.
I hope he loses.
Yes, pointless spinning back kick from Aoyama. More errant kicks from Shango. That's the fourth one he missed, says Quadros.
Yeah, that's the fourth one he missed.
Renzo fires one back. After another showy kick from Aoyama, Renzo with a distracting left and then a body lock. In the corner, Aoyama briefly grabs the ropes. Renzo then takes him down, eventually getting into guard. A couple punches from Renzo. Quadros starts talking about blue-collar and white-collar people. I have no fucking clue what's happening.
Deep appreciation of the finer points and the techniques of mixed martial arts here in Japan. It's not just a blue-collar sport. White-collar people across the board really appreciate mixed martial arts here in Japan.
Then says that Renzo said the internet is for little kids. 5 minutes down, you might be confused and cry, the most dangerous man alive today. Did you forget some parts of this fight just then? Nope, nothing happened.
No, it literally not like they were on the. This is why I hate ground fights, because like literally nothing happened, and the ref was about to fucking stand them up, and then like they would budge. They would fucking budge, like literally a fucking fly landed on them, and they try to like swat it away.
The ref would back away.
Yeah, that was fucking it. Like even Quadros and Boss is like, why the fuck is this ref doing, man? Just fucking stand him up.
Yes, this is why I hate Renzo fucking Gracie fights. Renzo looks away from Shango and throws some punches. Boss thinks it was a good technique.
Stand them back up.
That was quite a good technique, looking back and then attack with the right straight to the head.
It's the Captain Kirk technique. Over there, bam!
Boss and Quadros then talk amongst themselves, and the ref finally comes in to stand them up, and both men get a yellow card, though Quadros at first tells us only Shango is getting the yellow card. I clearly saw the ref announce the card between both men, not specifically at one or the other. On the restart,
I mean, that's the thing is, say whatever you want of Gracie, but Shango wasn't doing shit either. I mean, he was laying there and just like, I don't care. Like, he wasn't doing anything to try to reverse it. By the way, really quick side note, not really related to this episode. Every once in a while, I do like going through our channel and looking at the older videos, see what comment. Because unlike you, I don't get notifications of comments. I gotta go through each and every goddamn video to see comments. So I was looking at it, it's like, I looked at our fucking first video, dude. It has like 50,000 fucking views.
No, it has 80,000
Yeah,
views.
well, something fucking ridiculous like that. I was like, damn.
Your Classic MMA Revival has like 1,500 views.
Seriously?
It's like one of the highest Classic MMA Revivals.
Well, then why the fuck don't I do more?
You should do more. I've been trying to get you to do more. When you bring me back all the flash drives that you fucking have, because I have no more flash drives.
I'll bring him back. I didn't stop at home today because that was my plan, but I'll bring him. I'll bring him.
Oh, where was I? Yellow card is specifically between the two men. It wasn't to one or the other. On the restart, the men stand in front of each other for a while. Shingo tries spinning. That's a good trick.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
Renzo then tries a flying kick, or maybe he's just a klutz, and he kicked too high as he falls right on his ass. Shingo stays just out of reach.
Well, I will say this. That didn't look so much as a fall as it looked like a slip, because at this point, both of the fighters looked like they fucking covered in baby oil.
Yes, yeah. He kicked higher than humanly possible, and he lost his footing. Shingo stays just out of reach. 3 minutes left. The ref stands up Renzo, and at the same time, Quadros gets a news flash from an official.
According to an official ringside, they both got a yellow card for starting.
Thanks for clearing that up. Renzo shoots, but Shingo sprawls. The men exchange and clinch. Shingo whips Renzo down to the mat, but Aoyama stays up. Ref stands Renzo up. The men throw punches like a couple bitches in a street fight. Shingo gets tricky with a head kick, making the crowd roar.
Pork that left hand. Oh! Right high kick by Aoyama.
Renzo rushes in and they clinch. Aoyama tries a judo throw, but Renzo, nicely lubed up, is too slippery. He grabs Shingo by the ass, and they separate with a Renzo knee. 1 minute left. Front push kick by Renzo, then a spinning back kick by Aoyama. Renzo then tries one himself. Renzo with a no-look straight punch that leads him to diving for the legs. Shingo grabs the neck. Nothing else really happens, and the bell rings, ending round 1. Well, the round got better around the 7-minute mark. Otherwise, this fucking fight sucks.
I mean, at this point, these guys are so sweaty. It literally looks like a goddamn slip and slide. Like they're just like they try like you know that what is it, the greased pig, where they grease up a pig and you have to try to catch him. This is exactly that, man. Like they try to grapple each other, but then it's like slippery as fuck.
Yes. On the second round, Shingo starts with a 1-2. Some kicks from the men. They exchange punches. It's like they are sparring, actually. Nice sticking right straight from Renzo. Renzo shoots, but Shingo sprawls. Then he fixes his fucking knee guard. Mesger! Oh, Shingo! Renzo's still on his back. Ref stands him up. Shingo moves in for a right and left. They clinch against the ropes. Renzo jumps up for guard. Then they tumble into the corner. Shingo tries some ground and pound. Shingo tries to work past Renzo's feet. The ref stands up Renzo. Renzo has a cut.
I will point out that every time Renzo's on the ground, he does it way too much. He's like a fucking turtle. Shingo's corner always goes like, kick him! Kick him!
Let's see. Renzo has a cut. 2 minutes left in round 2. They clinch. Nice judo throw by Shingo. He's back up. He tries a cartwheel and then fixes his fucking knee guard. Arrgh! He runs around Renzo. The crowd chant for him. He jumps and does a twirl. Ref stands up Renzo, who's looking slow. 1 minute left in round 2. Renzo with punches. Shingo puts out his cheek saying, punch me here. Nothing else really happens or anything that's worth talking about, and the bell rings, ending round 2. That was a better round, but let's head straight into the third, because I kind of want to see this fight over. Round 3, the bell rings. The men exchange punches. Shingo with a high kick. Renzo kicks and Shingo spins. That spinning back fist missed by at least 2 feet, says Quadros.
Could knock you out. Whoa, look at that.
Spinning back fist, which missed by at least 2 feet.
Renzo then tries to out-miss Shingo with his own spinning maneuver.
But the interesting thing is, okay, Renzo with his own spinning back fist.
The men mix it up, back and forth and more. More exchanging. Renzo shoots, spins to Shingo's back, tries a slam, hasn't let go, tries to take him down, but Shingo spins around. He's up. Renzo pushes him back to the ropes. Then Shingo spins and trips him down. He's in half guard. That was a great sequence. Shingo's back up after a moment and fucking fixes his knee guard. Fuck. Who cares about your knee guard? Stop fixing it. The ref stands up Renzo. 2 minutes left now. Renzo shoots, then rolls back to the mat. Shingo stands over him. The ref stands Renzo up, who is a bit slow. High kick by Renzo. He shoots again, tries to pull guard. Shingo fixes his fucking knee guard. Mesger. 1 minute left. Ref stands up Renzo. The crowd boos Renzo.
Shingo's got his number in this fight. He's totally got Renzo's number.
Quadros says Shingo should just start punching. Renzo shoots again, rolls to his back. Shingo tries a stomp. Ref stands up Renzo, and then one last shot by Renzo, and the bell rings, ending our fight. Well, I think we know who won that one, but we'll head over to the judges to learn the result, which is... Shungo Aoyama, winner via unanimous decision. The crowd is elated that a Japanese has beaten a Gracie. Shungo cries he's so happy. And it's time for the next fight. Good Vibe, your thoughts on...
Fuck this fight. Fuck this fight in just every way, shape, and form. First of all, Shango's a jackass, like I mentioned earlier. I was hoping he'd lose, but then fucking Gracie was the biggest bitch I've ever seen, man. Like, are you sure he's a Gracie? I'm pretty sure he's adopted. At best.
He's
best.
the best fighting Gracie according to Quadros. Jesus. This is the best fighting Gracie.
Jesus, like he's literally just a bitch. Like, he played it so safe, so cowardly at every fucking turn. It was just shitty fight overall, man. And I hate that fucking this fucker won. God, I'm so angry. I got a drink now.
I didn't like this fight, and the limp tire in this one was Renzo. Renzo's boxing is bad, and his grappling wasn't that good either. Shungo wasn't much better, but at least he scored some good stuff. Still not super impressive. I give it a 3 out of 10. So what would become of our two sure as shit senpais here? Shungo will be back in quick fashion at Pride 22, where Renzo's brother, Hyen, will attempt to get revenge on him. As for Renzo, he'll be back at Pride Bushido 1 in October 2003, and he will not fight again until that appearance. At Bushido 1, he takes on Carlos Newton. We'll see you boys then! On to the next bout of Pride 21, which was omitted from the Pride 21 DVD, so Good Vibe didn't get to see it. But it sees two newcomers to Pride, as Daniel Gracie takes on Takashi Segura. Daniel Gracie from Brazil was 29 years old, and this was his debut MMA bout. Takashi, meanwhile, from Japan, was 32 years old, and this was also his MMA debut. Well, we have two new faces who are making their Pride debuts, but just who are these two men? First with Daniel Gracie. He's not blood related to the Gracie family. It's a bit odd, but according to his Wikipedia, and I quote, contrary to popular belief, Daniel is not a Gracie by blood. He is the cousin of brothers Charles, Renzo, Half, and Hyen. Having been raised amongst the Gracie family, Daniel decided to adopt the Gracie surname as his own professionally. Does that make any sense? It said he's a cousin.
They said he's a cousin of the brothers,
but he's not blood related.
Well, yeah, no, I get
So
get that.
A step cousin?
Yeah,
is that what they're trying to say? He's a fucking step cousin? Then say that.
I mean, I will say this: some places don't use the term step cousin.
Step cousin.
Yeah, I mean,
or like step brother.
Yeah. I mean, it's just cousin, like third cousin, fourth cousin, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. He probably has a black belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or something, but he's never fought or anything like that. What about Takashi? He's a pro wrestler, debuting as a pro wrestler for Pro Wrestling Noah, a recently new pro wrestling promotion formed in 2000. Takashi has the distinction of being the first pro wrestler to make his pro wrestling debut for that company. All the previous performers of Pro Wrestling Noah had debuted for other promotions. And that's all I can really say about Takashi's history. I couldn't find any video of him wrestling prior to his Pride debut. Strap yourselves in, fight fans, because it's the return of the Action Recap. Round 1, the men mix it up and clinch in a corner. Low blow by Takashi. A real unorthodox start, says Quadros.
A real unorthodox start here.
More mixing it up. Takashi knocks Daniel down.
Nice right straight.
Nice left straight. And a ground and pound attack. Daniel Samoa is in big trouble here. He ate one-time left hand by the Greco-Roman wrestlers.
Tries some ground and pound. Daniel is back up. More trading. They clinch. More punching. Daniel pulls guard. Daniel takes Takashi down and Mount beats on him.
Daniel on top, starting to dish out the punishment. And Segura slipping out of the ropes.
Whoa, good strikes.
Man,
these are good strikes.
He's landing him on the chin. Segura is not out though, but
Restart in the center. Takes a long fucking time. Takashi gives up his back. Daniel continues to beat him. Tries a choke. More beatings. Then tries an armbar. Loses position. Then the bell rings, ending round 1. In round 2, the men with awkward trading, then clinch. Takashi takes Daniel down. Ref moves the fighters. Quadros says he wants to see Sakuraba back. Calls him Saku.
Where's Sakuraba? Yes, I want to see Sakuraba back in Pride. Sakuraba is the most exciting ground fighter I have ever seen. I miss him.
I miss him too, man. I think everybody here, every single one of the people in the audience are missing him.
Saku.
Daniel locks up the arm of Takashi, goes for a triangle choke. Takashi gets free, sits in guard for a while, slowing down. Daniel tries to get up, eats a knee. Takashi fights so he'll be popular with the girls.
Takashi Sugiura said that he fights mixed martial arts because he wants to be popular with the girls.
According to Quadros, round ends with Takashi in guard. Daniel is a very Gracie-like boxer, I will note that. Both men are pretty bad at boxing. Round 3, clinch against the ropes, knees. Ref separates them, striking from Daniel. Front headlock from Takashi into a clinch. Daniel pulls guard, Takashi with light work. Renzo Gracie with loud chattering at Daniel.
I'm Daniel.
Vambora, bichão! Daniel, afasta esse filho da puta e larga a porrada nele.
Yeah, it's difficult. And again, this is again a very difficult fight to
No
call.
joelho, Daniel! Bate nesse joelho dele aí, caralho!
Daniel thinks of a triangle. Takashi stands over Daniel. The bell rings. Fight is over. It goes to the judges, and Daniel Gracie wins via split decision. This was an okay fight. Both men were similarly lacking in boxing, and it made for interesting trading action. Both men are also around 220 pounds. Bad weight for both, as they are not very big heavyweights. Both would get killed by the big men in Pride. I give this fight a 5 out of 10. So what would become of our two double...
It was the best fight I've ever seen, listeners. Like such, filled with action.
Yes. So what would become of our two double ducking dukers here? We'll next see the fake Gracie Daniel over a year after this.
Wait. Did you just say double-decker dookies?
I said double ducking dukers.
Oh, okay. I was like, man.
Double-decker dookies? I should have said that. I should have said that. He won't be back until over a year after this. He won't be back until Pride Bushido 1 in October of 2003. There he takes on Kazuhiro Namikawa, Japanese MMA fighter who debuts at Pride 25. As for Takashi, he won't be back for 2 years, not until Pride Bushido 4 in July of 2004. There he takes on Paulo Cesar Silva, aka Giant Silva, literal pro wrestling oddity. We'll see you boys then.
In this next matchup, we've got the Russian in Emelianenko Fedor versus that big man, that almost 7-foot wonder, Schilt from Holland. It's going to be a clash of countries here, boss.
Yes, it is. You know what? Both of them are very pale and white because in both countries there's not a lot of sun. And I know because I'm from Holland. Schilt, actually, he looks like Ivan Drago. We always make fun about it, but so he looks like a Russian guy. But now he's going to face a Russian guy. What can he do against him? We know that Fedor is a champion, a good one, and all his fights, all the fights that he won was in rings. But in rings, there are no strikes allowed to the ground. So that could be the key to success for Schilt.
Yeah, the key to success for Fedor is probably going to be with those punches and bunches taking Sammy to the ground. But the king of the one-word interview, Schilt, is probably going to want to stay standing up and use those long-range weapons, those telephone pole arms and legs to beat up on the shorter wrestler from Russia.
Look at this reach advantage here. See this? I can't even touch this guy, okay? Now, I don't even want to deal with the legs. Do you think that you're a better kicker or puncher?
I think punching and kicking. I don't think one is better than the other. I think it's both good.
Okay. If you were a stand-up comedian, what would your opening joke be?
I think I just stand there and people laugh.
Emelianenko Fedor. He is 25 years old and he's just all 227 pounds. Boss?
This looks like a Rocky movie. And Ivan Drago is coming up. Listen to the music.
Well, this music is
We're missing the vocals, the manly vocals. If I knew the lyrics, I would have sung it for you guys.
Well, this is a wrestler who can punch. And he's got a great corner. The man holding the flag there is one of his alumni from the RENZO organization, one of the great leg lockers, Kopylov, and he's got his teammate directly behind him, Lobasanov. And they didn't wait for somebody to play their national anthem. Apparently, they played it for themselves. And, I really like that. I've really been looking forward to seeing this guy fight. He is a foot shorter, almost. He's about 10 inches shorter than his opponent, Schilt. And he did say that he needs to close the distance and get inside of Schilt's punches and kicks.
On to the 7th bout of the evening, which sees a returning Schilt taking on a long-awaited debuting Fedor Emelianenko. Cool my throat. I want to thank the Good Five for bringing over a watermelon margarita mix.
It's been good, man.
It's been pretty good.
So, listeners, the reason I know I'm disappointing you today because you know the Good Vibe drinks beer. Well, the Good Vibe's trying to lose some weight and make some money out of it. So I'm trying to cut out things like a lot of weight. And I know with how much beer I drink, really adds on those calories and those carbs and everything. So I'm going with this, which, better, I assume. It's got sugar,
We
maybe.
hope.
I hope, yeah.
Yes. Where was I? Semi was 28 years old for this fight, and his MMA record was 22-10-1. Fedor from Russia was 25 years old, and his MMA record was 10-1. Schilt is back, last seen at Pride 18, where he beat up poor Takayama, whom we'll see later in the main event. Now he welcomes in a highly regarded Russian rings fighter. But just who is Fedor? Born in the easternmost part of Ukraine, Fedor was the son of a teacher, his mother, and welder, his father. That sounded
He was the son of a mother and a father? Wow.
No, he was the son of a teacher, his mother, and a welder, his father.
There you go. Much better.
In the early 1990s, he joined a judo sports group, trained in Sambo, and then joined the Russian army in the mid-1990s, serving in the Russian ground forces as a firefighter. From 1997 to 1999, he captured a series of tournament wins and medals in various self-defense judo competitions, and in 2000 began serious boxing training under the tutelage of Alexander Mikov, former Russian. Why did I put this in there if I can't even read it?
Rochambeau.
Former Roshyiski master of sport in amateur boxing, which is apparently a big deal. Around this time, Fedor got hooked up with Volkan and Andrei Kopylov, two famous Fighting Network Rings participants, and Fedor got an opportunity to fight in a Rings Russia event. His debut was at Rings Russia versus Bulgaria in May of 2000, and his opponent, Martin Lazarov, fell to a guillotine choke after 2 minutes. Then in August of that year, Fedor appeared at Rings Russia versus Georgia, and no, it wasn't Russia versus fat yokels from Georgia, USA. Georgia, the former Soviet country, dummies. Fedor fought Levan Lagvilava. Levan.
And the sound that I got man, and the sound that I leave on, introduction with the family plan, and the sound that I leave on.
Listeners, this is another part that's probably going to get cut off the video, but this is a story time of the most dangerous man alive today and me used to go to karaoke. And he would sing this song in the most ridiculous way ever. Like, as ridiculous as he could get. Because I'm pretty sure he loves cocaine. I don't fucking know.
Yes.
But it was just like, holy shit. You just, like, your jaw just dropped in awe.
Fedor beat Levan via rear naked choke after 7 minutes in the first round. Then it was on to a Rings event in Japan. Rings Battle Genesis Volume 6 in Tokyo on September 5th. There it took Fedor only 12 seconds to KO Hiroya Takada.
Takada.
After his hot start, Fedor was selected to participate in the Rings King of Kings 2000 tournament. At the B block opening rounds in December, he first defeated Ricardo Arona, muscly Brazilian from Brazilian top team. Fedor won that one via decision. Then later that night, he faced off against Shioshi Kosaka, TK, and Fedor lost on a technicality after Kosaka caused a cut on Fedor's right eye from a punch. The fight was stopped after only 17 seconds. Undeterred, Fedor came back in April, beat some Bulgarian named Mikhail Apostolov via rear naked choke at a Rings Russia event in April 6th, and then later that month was entered into the Rings World Title Series Openweight Tournament, a 4-man tournament which was split over 2 events held 4 months apart. First, he beat Kerry Shaw on April 20th via armbar. Then in August, he fought Renato Sobral, beating him via decision to be crowned the Rings 2001 Openweight Tournament champion. But Fedor wasn't finished winning tournaments and rings and was quickly entered into the Rings World Title Series Absolute Class Tournament, an 8-man, 3-fight tournament held over 3 events, beginning in October of 2001 and ending in February 2002. In succession, Fedor beat Ryushi Yanagisawa, former Pancrase star, via decision, then Lee Hasdell via guillotine choke in the first round, and then Chris Haziman at the final bout via TKO in the first round, and thus Fedor was crowned the Rings 2001 Absolute Class Champion. That bout against Haziman on February 15th was the last time Fedor fought, and that brings us here to Pride 21. Pre-fight, Boss says that both Fedor and Semi Schilt are very white.
Well, I mean, the best part is on the on the entrance. I thought this, like, the second Schilt came out, I was like, Jesus. And then Fedor comes out, and it's like the fucking Rocky music. It's like, and I'm like, oh my god, am I watching Rocky? And then Boss is like, oh, it's like Rocky. I'm like, oh my god, he agrees with me. I feel so fucking good.
Quadros then interviews Schilt, and Quadros illustrates his reach. Quadros then asks if Schilt was a stand-up comedian. What would be his first joke?
If you were a stand-up comedian, what would your opening joke be?
I think I just stand there and people laugh.
This has got to be one of the stupidest fucking questions in the history of fight interviews. Did Quadros really expect some witty answer out of a man who looks like he can barely spell his own name? What question should I ask this giant dumb fighter? If you were a comedian, what would your first joke be? Fuck. We gotta walk out for Fedor.
The weather is fine up here?
Yes.
I got a leg up on the competition.
Yes. We gotta walk out for Fedor only. So my earlier guaranteed has been blown to pieces. I said earlier we won't get any more walkouts. I was wrong. Fedor appears to the Russian national anthem. Boss says this is like a Rocky movie. We see stern dad Andrei Kopylov and Lobasanov with him. Once the anthem is over, Fedor's walkout song plays, which is a song by Era. K. Grant delivers good introductions.
青コーナー212センチ114キロセインシュート
Semi Schilt.
赤コーナー182センチ106.5キロエメリアンコヒョウレフリー野口大輔
We get a look at Fedor, who's had a dad bod for nearly his whole life. Huge height difference. Wow.
Yeah, no shit.
It looks like it's over a foot. I know Fedor might be listed at 6'1", but if Schilt is listed at 6'11", it's got to be, there's more than that.
No, there's got to be more. But
Fedor might be embellishing his height a little bit, which they always do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny because, I mean, Schilt literally looks so fucking lanky. Like, his chest, just, like, it's all of his legs. Like, his legs are so fucking long. I'm not going to do the whole, like, oh, who does he look like? But body shape, he's like a fucking basketball player, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's crazy.
The ref has to stand on his tippy toes during his final instructions to try to reach Schilt's forehead. Good vibe. Any thoughts before we run this fight down?
Thoughts. Well, I have something like a thought, and that's, who does he look like?
What the fuck?
And ladies and gentlemen, today, for the 11th time, I'm going to exaggerate because I know
Right.
this. Fedor. I saw it, and by the way, this is weird because this is a show I've only ever seen a couple episodes of. But I saw this character once, and I saw Fedor, and I'm like, holy shit, what is this character's name? So I had to Google it. So, fuck the actor name. I don't fucking care. The character. From the show The Office, The character name is Toby Flender.
Look, you're saying he looks like Toby?
He looks like Toby, dude. He literally looks like Toby.
The human resources guy? I think he's the human resources guy.
Yeah, I don't fucking know what he is. I've seen maybe, like I said, I've seen maybe a couple episodes here and there.
God.
So I don't know what the fuck his character is, but I saw them. I'm like, no, boom, this guy looks like him.
My wife is a big Office fan. We'll have to go down and see what she thinks about that. All right, well, let's do it. The bell rings, round 1. Standoff, then Fedor bomb rushes in. Schilt sends out his knee for Fedor to grab. Fedor grabs a body lock. Against the ropes, then Fedor spins Schilt down to the mat. Fedor is in side control. Fedor spins the freaky mount for a fleeting moment, then spins into half guard. They fight for control. Fedor resists Semi's, tries to unbalance him. Fedor gets in the mount, sets up an armbar with a punch, then hooks Semi's right arm, rolls back for it very sloppily. Schilt is in trouble, but he survives, and Fedor rolls him again and is now in side control, then gets back in the mount. Ref moves the fighters out of the ropes. On a restart, Fedor sticks on top, despite Semi trying to get him off. Fedor decides to punch Schilt, landing the first one clean, then the others get deflected. Schilt just can't shake Fedor off him, despite him trying. This isn't a Kirisoji, that's for sure. Fedor tries more punches, nothing landing flush, then more, which leads to him falling to half guard. Fedor thinks of an armbar, then goes back on the mount, 5 minutes down. Out of nowhere, Fedor is bleeding from somewhere. Schilt, who hasn't done much of anything on the bottom, tries a couple punches, to which Fedor fires back. Fedor steps over to side control. Semi throws a knee. Fedor with punches. Semi gets Fedor to half guard, then full guard. Fedor is up. Semi kicks. Fedor falls back into guard. Nice shot by Fedor, gets the crowd to react. 3 minutes left. Fedor goes for a neck crank, but Schilt punches out of it. Fedor jumps out of guard into side control. Schilt tries to power out from under him. Fedor's in freaky mount briefly. Back in side control. Back in mount. He punches, but mostly misses. 1 minute left now. More ground and pound from Fedor. Schilt's output is negligible. Then the bell rings, ending round 1. That was all Fedor. Schilt had no answers on the mat. Fedor's face, though, showing damage from Schilt's minimal punching. Wow. Obviously, Schilt has a lot of power.
I don't know if it was power or just luck, because like Schilt, like Fedor has been really fucking smart at this fight, because he's kept, like, every time Schilt tries anything, he just rushes in, keeps that range in check, which is really fucking impressive.
That's how you fight
exactly.
him.
It's fucking impressive, dude.
Also, Quadro sounds really low and depressed. He's very soft at the moment.
Well, we're coming up on round 2. Sammy's got to strike first blood standing up and keep him away from him and do some damage.
Yeah, he can't
because, you know, otherwise he's going to get taken down again. This guy really has got some cool takedowns.
Did somebody hand him a note to tell him that his dog died? Time for round 2. Schilt just can't pull the trigger on a kick. Gets too close. Fedor takes him right down. Fedor inadvertently bumps into Schilt's knee, and Quadros thinks it was a cool move.
Otherwise, I hope that the referee's going to stand him up.
Well, Sammy need him right there. See that? See right there? That's a cool move.
Quadros then plugs Boss Ruten's Big Book of Combat.
Could it be... Now, Boss, speaking of that technique, you've got a book coming out pretty soon.
Yes, I do. And that technique, actually, you can find in that book.
I'm very familiar with that book, Boss, since I co-authored it with you. We're talking about the Boss Ruten's Big Book of Combat, which will be out imminently, probably mid to late July.
Quadros then asks Boss if Semi lacks the tools to finish the fight from the bottom.
It's kind of shutting him down, but Sammy's got to do something to try and end the fight, because do you think that he lacks the tools to do that from his back?
Yeah, with a guy like Fedor, for sure. I don't think he's going to armbar him or do anything else. This is good. I hope they restart.
The fighters are moved out of the ropes. I'm beginning to feel like this fight deserved an action recap. Boss and Quadros are really bored. 2 minutes left. Fedor tries a big punch. Boss thinks it should be put up to the feet. 1 minute left now in round 2. Nothing really happens though, and the bell rings. Well, that round sucked. Hoping for a better third. Any
Spoiler?
thoughts?
No.
Well, let's find out. Round 3, Semi half-heartedly tries a front kick. Fedor crowds him, grabs him, then slowly trips him down to the mat. Fedor is in side control. He punches, tries a knee. Boss wonders why no one does those knees to the body. They are so effective. Ref moves the fighters. Fedor gets some more offense off, then gets into mount. Fedor a little more aggressive. Quadros notes that Fedor only throws his left hand. 2 minutes left now. Fedor clubs Schilt a couple times. Semi should get a yellow card. Boss wants a stand-up, but Fedor is in mount. 1 minute left now, and Semi tries to turn out from under Fedor, but goes nowhere. Boss recommends reading Boss's Big Book of Combat, How to Escape the Mount.
Boss with a big book of combat, How to Escape the Mount.
The bell then rings, ending the round and our fight. Well, I think we can predict this decision, but let's head to the judges to learn the result, which is...
Yeah, obviously.
Fedor Emelianenko, winner via unanimous decision. Fedor celebrates with the Kopylov, and we're off to the main event. Good vibe. Your thoughts on this matchup?
It was an interesting matchup because he was giving up a lot of height, but not weight. That's one of those things I've always noticed. If you give up too much weight, you're going to get railed. But height differences like this, reach differences, make for an interesting fight. Fedor fucking nailed it. Like, he kept Schilt down and out.
Yeah,
it was literally... every round I'm like, Fedor's winning this, plain and simple.
His ground control was fucking spectacular.
Oh, it was.
It wasn't a great fight, but it showed his skills on the ground. I mean,
that's the thing is there. That's the thing. It gives you the hope that he can be like an amazing fighter because on a disadvantage because honestly, that is a disadvantage when motherfucker like Schilt barely lifts his leg and can fucking kick you in the face. Yeah. You know, you got to be very careful with that.
Here's my thoughts. Well, the debut of Fedor wasn't anything to write home about other than his amazing control of the much bigger man, which, if you know Fedor, you know his ability to fight bigger men is one of his amazing abilities. It literally looked like Little Mac fighting like Sandman, and like Punch-Out. This was a great display of that, but otherwise it was a bit of a slog. Schilt, well, this is the chink in his armor. A strong wrestler spells trouble for him. He didn't offer anything from the bottom, which if he had moved more, maybe threw out some submission attempts, he could have changed the dynamic of the fight. But maybe he was afraid of Fedor's submissions. I give this fight a 5 out of 10. So what would become of our two flat-top flippin' fighters here? Both men return at Pride 23. Championship Chaos 2 in December of 2002. Semi Schilt takes on Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Big Nog and Fedor takes on Heath Herring. Both should be good matches. We'll see you boys then.
Don Frye is back, the man that beat Ken Shamrock the last time he was in Pride. But he's going to be facing a giant, 6'7", 260-pound Yoshihiro Takayama. But let's be fair, it was originally Mark Coleman that was going to face Don Frye. More from Boss.
Yeah, Mark Coleman got injured in the training. He had a little accident there with his training partner, Kevin Randleman. He suffered from a neck injury, so for him it was wise not to fight. They postponed this fight. And like I said in the beginning of the show, don't worry, they are going to fight. Only it's going to take a little bit longer.
Don, you're back in the ring, but it must be a little disappointing not getting Coleman this time out.
Yeah, it was real disappointing. I had my heart set on Coleman for 6 years, and when we got the news, first, I was really concerned about his health. That was first and foremost, so big prayer for him, they'd be healthy and make a recovery. And then the disappointment sat in and I wouldn't be able to fight him. And once I found out, he was okay, I was real happy about that. So that's what's most important is that he's injury-free, just a minor injury, but he'll be back.
Got any designs on the heavyweight title?
Always, always. When I came back to mixed martial arts, the main goal was to fight Coleman, and then to fight Shamrock. And I got lucky enough, I fought Shamrock. Got really lucky and I beat him. I'd like to fight Coleman eventually, but, to get that world heavyweight title, that's what everybody gets in the sport for.
when Coleman and Frye do fight, it will be a rematch. But tonight, it's the first time that Takayama will face Frye. Now, Frye is a really good puncher, but Takayama has the ability to take a punch. So how is that going to play out, boss?
I don't know. If Takayama plays his cards straight, right, exactly right, he should try to overpower Don Frye. It's going to be very difficult because Don Frye is a very powerful individual, but Takayama's got way more size on him. If he can use that, he could bring Don Frye in danger. But I think it's going to be a difficult task for Takayama to beat him.
I agree. Also, I think, as a matter of fact, Don Frye will take this fight, and I think we're going to be saying timber by the end of this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Meijiteme LA presents Frye 21. ただいまより本日のメインイベント最終第8試合を行います。
And now for the main and eighth match.
この試合の勝利者には副賞として明治生命総合保険会社様より勝利者賞が贈られます。青コーナーよりドン・フライ選手の入場です。
One of our favorite spots, Don, the Predator, Frye. About as American as you can get.
In the blue corner.
Yeah, absolutely right. Also one of my favorites. Always been from day one in the UFC at the time. And yeah, it's like you said, man, this guy's tough. He's an all-American hero right here.
And listen to that crowd. They love Don Frye here. I remember when Don Frye fought Ken Shamrock, the crowd went through the roof when they announced his name. He is a two-time UFC tournament champion. He won the UFC number 8, and he also won the UFC Ultimate 96. He was a finalist in UFC 10, where he suffered his only loss.
On to the main event of the evening, and wow, it's finally here. Don Frye versus Yoshihiro Takayama. This has been a long time coming. Don Frye was 36 years old and his MMA record was 14-1. Takayama, meanwhile, was 35 years old and his MMA record was 0-2. I can't believe it. We've arrived at one of the seminal landmark fights of pride. Dare I say MMA itself. I know I'm not spoiling anything, as every Pride and MMA fan out there has seen or heard about this fight. We last saw Frye at Pride 19, Bad Blood, where he put his rivalry with Ken Shamrock to bed with a decision victory. As for Takayama, he was last seen at Pride 18 back in December 2001. There, Schilt knocked him out. Pre-fight, Quadros tells us that Don Frye was supposed to fight Mark Coleman tonight, and Boss tells us Mark got injured when training with Kevin Randleman. But don't worry, they are going to fight, just at a later date. Then Quadros interviews Frye, and Frye said he has had his heart set on fighting Coleman for 6 years. Quadros asks him if he has his eyes set on a heavyweight title. K. Grant, in his rooster haircut, introduces us to the main evento. Takayama is already in the ring, and then Don Frye is out. He's about as American as you can get, says Quadros. Frye gets dueling chants going from the crowd.
Another David Glad situation.
本日のメインイベント最終第8試合を行います。青コーナー185センチ98キロ
beating guys that outweigh them by 20, 30, 40 pounds. And let's see if he can do it again against that guy right there, Yoshihiro Takayama.
Yeah, one thing is for sure, Cole Frye is not going to stick in the
A stare down of legend happens. Who will blink? Takayama blinks first, then Frye. Then Takayama blinks even more deliberately, and Boss laughs at it.
Now, when we were talking with Takayama, oh, look at this. When we were talking with Takayama, we were teasing him about the Rod Stewart hairdo, and he said that he thought about being a rock and roll guitar player when he was a teenager. And that's one thing about Don Frye and Takayama. They will deliver the intensity that we want.
Didn't blink once.
Visine if he didn't blink.
Good vibe. Any thoughts before we run this fight down?
Well, it's the All-American Tom Selleck versus the mostly Japanese orangutan. So it's
Neanderthal man.
Like it's Tom Selleck. You're not gonna beat him.
Yes.
Why even try? Like, I mean, I give that Takayama might have some, like, I don't know, spirit or liked over there, but it's still like, holy shit, it's like, it doesn't look like a fair fight.
He got his ass beat twice now.
He got his ass beat, and he's not in shape. Like, you see Don Frye. And
yeah, Don Frye is in amazing shape.
Amazing shape, and you see this little, like, honestly, look at a picture of a fucking orangutan and look at this motherfucker. It's the same shit. Lanky ass arms, orange hair on top,
Flabby.
a giant fucking flappy belly. It's the same fucking shit. So once again, like this is that pride thing, man. It's scaring me because it's a fucking main event, and they're putting two people that I would not see a main event happening.
Right. Yeah, I think I mentioned this later, or maybe I took that out, but I would not call either one of these guys a main event. I love Don Frye, but he's not competing for the championship right now. He's
No, I know.
sort of like almost a gatekeeper, so to speak, because he's kind of a veteran of the sport. He's not competing with the top of the MMA brackets.
Yeah.
He's a name. He's a big name still, but he's not a main event fighter. He might be still maybe a draw, but he's, again, competing wise, he's not fighting like a Nogueira.
Honestly, that's why I call him Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck is a great actor,
Right.
but he's never the biggest draw in any movie. But he's Tom fucking Selleck.
Well then, are you ready, fight fans? Round one. The bell rings and they just go fucking nuts on one another.
All the bombs that we expect in Pride Fighting Championship Demolition, and there's that right hand. They're duking it out. Don Frye with right hand. Takayama. Boom.
Frye first with raking shots. Takayama has his neck, pushes him into the corner. Frye grabs his neck and the men blast each other as the crowd is the loudest I've ever heard in my life. Takayama gives up on the face, tries to work the body as Frye focuses on Takayama's head. Takayama begins to let up. Frye lets go of the neck and goes crazy with lefts and rights. Takayama's face is already fucked. Takayama tries errant knees. Frye slugs him. Takayama tries to stifle his movement. The men slow down. Frye tries uppercuts. Then Takayama puts him in the corner and the men take a short breather.
Holy shit. The fact that Takayama went for a blowout like that against Don fucking Frye. All right, I got to give him the balls for that. Or maybe it's the orangutan brain. It's just battered.
Despite the fact that both men had the hand on the back of the head and it's like a hockey fight and they're just blasting each other, Takayama's punches didn't seem like they did anything.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird. Because to me, like, when they went for the first, like, back and forth like that, like, real loud, first of all, it looked more like a wrestling match. Like, you know, like the fake punches. But then, like, afterwards, like, for a quick second, both fighters just didn't look worse for wear. Like, they just, like, they got done with it and were like, all right, we're done with this part. And then kept fighting, so I was impressed. But then, like you said, then they get a shot of Takayama's face, and you're like, this guy's fucked.
I think it has to do with knowing how to throw a punch. And Frye, who has one professional boxing match, so clearly before that he had boxing training.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I don't think Takayama knows how to throw a proper punch. Frye clearly does.
Yeah.
They try knees. Takayama seems to turn himself into the corner. Frye works the body then head. And we get a glimpse of Takayama's face.
What's going to happen?
Like I said, he's not going to back down.
No.
Takayama then turns out of the corner and tries to throw Frye down. They hit the mat. Takayama is quick to stand. Hits a hard knee to Frye that seems to wake him up. Frye stands and the men resume their phone booth punching. Takayama swings with lefts and rights. Frye ejects his mouth guard and fires back. Frye has a cut on his forehead, and Boss loses his shit at the sight of Takayama's face.
I'm going to lose my hearing. The crowd is so loud. I had no idea.
Hey, come on! Oh, this Christ, look at this.
Takayama's left eye is completely swollen, top and bottom. Boss says he has never seen this before. First time, Takayama puts his weight onto Frye in the corner. Then Frye begins to turn out. Quadros says the mouse under Takayama's eye has turned into a rat. Boss then mentions Don losing his mouthpiece. Takayama retakes control in the corner, tries to mount some offense as the crowd cheers him on.
Yeah, Don in the punching exchange lost his mouthpiece too.
I think that and Takayama made no secret.
Takayama knees while Frye punches him. The men separate, then after some missing shots, they clinch again. Frye whacks Takayama, who tries an uppercut. Then some vicious shots from Frye. Ouch. Takayama's head has to be pounding. They work their way down the ropes, then back towards the corner. The men knee each other. Then the ref is in to break them apart. Don receives his mouthpiece back, and the ringside doctor wants to have a look at Takayama's eye.
Boss, this has been a war. I've never, the beginning, and then they did it again. We're going to see, whatever happens, we're going to see that again in the replay.
Okay, folks, the Pride video game is available right now, but in some ways, this will be soon available. But this was a lot like a video game.
Takayama is okay to go, and the fight restarts, and immediately the men return to beating the shit out of each other.
Don't try secret here.
Oh, look at that! Don is teeing off on Takayama! Takayama!
With Frye's boxing more crisper, they clinch. Takayama knees 5 minutes down in round 1. They are back in the corner. Takayama pulls on Frye for a takedown, but he forgot to pivot, and Frye lands right on top of him. Frye's in mount. Frye hammers Takayama's head, takes a break, then goes back at it. Another break, and then more. Takayama covers up, and Yuji Shimada slides in to stop the fight. The streamers come down. Takayama's face is completely fucked up. Don Frye, winner via TKO at 6 minutes, 10 seconds of the first round.
He's going to set it up with it. The second attempt he had. Whoa, you can hear the man.
Oh, there it is. Referee stoppage. And a good one. Yeah, Yuji Shimada was really on top of things because there's no need for Takayama to think anymore. Whoa.
Oh, my God.
He looks like a possum right there.
I didn't think Takayama could get uglier. I was fucking proven wrong. I was really proven wrong. Jesus.
Frye's cornerman has an even more impressive mustache. Takayama is helped up. He looks like he needs an aspirin and maybe a dentist. Don Frye collects his goodies, and then we get one last iconic shot of Takayama's face as Quadros and Boss begin to recap the card. Good Vibe, your thoughts on this historic bout?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot better than I would have thought. Like, Takayama went for it. He had the spirit for the fight. I will give him that. But like you said, even after all the punches, you look at fucking Frye's face, and he has maybe like a scratch.
He had that little cut that was bleeding on top of his.
Yeah, but that was it. Like, otherwise his face was okay. Then you look at Takayama, motherfucker's just like
his whole
can't
face,
see, probably
right.
can't breathe, probably he's losing like fucking 6 teeth by the end of this shit.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, Jesus, that's the thing is that's the difference in caliber. That does not make a good fucking main event. It was a good fight. It was an entertaining fight, but it is not a main event fight.
Wow, I have a totally different take. This is what I have. Wow, Frye and Takayama were the right men at the right place at the right time. They put on a fight for the ages and easily one of the best main event fights of all time. And you tell me this is not a main event?
I'm not saying it's an amazing fight. It's an amazing fight. But honestly, once again, it is not an even fight.
Sure.
You have that, like I said, you have that first exchange of punches. Amazing, exciting, like exhilarating. You get the crowd into it. And probably for the crowd, I will not lie, it was probably a better fight than for us. Because we have those zoom, like the camera zooming into the faces. And you can tell already, boom, this is not going to be fair. Because this is not going to be close to anything. Because Takayama, Frye just went all out. Frye barely showing it. Takayama's almost on the fucking ground sobbing.
I will agree with your assessment there that if Takayama was able to do more damage to Frye and maybe put him in danger,
yes,
that he clearly wasn't able to.
No, he wasn't, and so that's my thing. a very fun fight to watch, but you can see that Frye at no point in time was he ever at the risk of losing. And it became even more apparent after every exchange.
Yeah. Well, I will say if this fight had happened at any point in the card, it would have ruined the rest of the card, knowing the rest of the card and how the fights turned out.
Well,
imagine if this would have been like the third fight and the rest of the fights turned out the way they did.
I completely give you that. For example, the fact that, the Gracie fight, that was a shitty fight. That killed the momentum. So yes, had this fight happened like before it, like you have this crowd hyped the fuck up, and then you have this fucking shithole.
Yeah.
So yes,
it would have ruined the rest of the card. Given the fact that the rest of the card was mediocre / boring, this fight happening when it did at the main event, it was magic. It was just the perfect timing.
Yes.
Because it saved the card, in my opinion.
It was a great match. I'll give you that. And
considering the rest of the card,
and considering for this card, it was the best match to have as a main event.
Yes. I'm not sure if these two met before the fight and came to some sort of an agreement. Takayama had previously fought Fujita, whom Don Frye was buddy with, so maybe that played a part. This one is a pure fight, a spectacle, a battle, not technical, not pretty. It was a war, and wow, what a war it was. I give it a 10 out of 10. So what would become of our two Rock'em Sock'em robots here? Don Frye will return at Pride Shockwave 2002, where he takes on Jerome Labanner in a kickboxing bout. As for Takayama, this would do it for his Pride career. Takayama would only have one more MMA bout, which would happen at the Inoki Bumbaye 2002 event in December of 2002, where Takayama would fight Bob Sapp. Sapp used an armbar, of all things, to submit Takayama. There is one more fight listed on Takayama's MMA career, but it happened in a pro wrestling organization, U Spirits, and it is almost assuredly a pro wrestling match showcased as a shoot match. I don't have video of this match, and it was ruled a KO via slam. Again, I'm positive it is just a work, promoted as an MMA bout. After the fight with Don Frye, Takayama was catapulted into the realm of superstardom in Japan. Viewed as a legitimate tough guy, fact that Takayama used to propel his previously stagnant pro wrestling career into the stratosphere. In 2003, he won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling after defeating Yuji Nagata in 2003. He would also win the IWGP Tag Team Championships with former Pancrase star Minoru Suzuki in 2004. Takayama stayed in pro wrestling, still headlining independent shows all the way up until 2017. That is when tragedy struck. In May of 2017, Takayama attempted a sunset flip while performing at a DDT Pro Wrestling show, which is an independent promotion in Japan. Takayama landed on his head and suffered a severe spinal injury. Weeks on a respirator, he was finally able to breathe on his own, but it was revealed he was paralyzed from the neck down. This left many fans heartbroken, including Don Frye, who sent Takayama a personal heartfelt message. Several fundraisers were held for his benefit. He seemed to be doing as well as can be expected today, tweeting from time to time. Still, Takayama is in my thoughts, and should you have some extra money lying around, look for one of Takayama's fundraisers and give him what you can. I've included a link in the description to a store donation option, but alas, it's in Japanese, and I believe it's the only campaign currently active. Godspeed, Takayama, Godspeed. Quadros and Boss talk about the fights, talking up Bob Sapp and Ival, and in the ring, a microphone is handed to Don Frye, who says thank you very much to the crowd. He thanks Takayama and then says hi to his daughters, and he says he's going to go home and raise them now.
Takayama-san, arigato. I'd like to say hi to Katie and Cassie, my two little girls.
Katie, Nashi, みんなありがとう。
Takayama-san, thank you very much. Great warrior.
本当にどうもありがとう。また会いましょう。
We have Molly and I have 2 little girls, Katie and Cassie.
ケイティとキャシーっていう小さな女の子がいるんですが、
And I'm gonna go home and raise them now.
そして
Sayonara.
家に帰って子育てに励みたい
Okay,
と思い
Don
ます。
Frye
どう
giving
もあ
a
りがとう。
lot of credit, props to Takayama, who kind of saved the day.
Sayonara. The show then closes on the Pride theme, and Quadro's talking more about the event. He then plugs the next Pride show, Shockwave. That will not be the next Pride we watch, though, but more on that in just a second. Good vibe. Your overall thoughts on Pride 21, Demolition?
Well, the fact, I don't know what that fight that I didn't watch was, but it was a decent card. Terrible start, good middle, a very big drop with that fucking Gracie fight, but a good ending. So, not a bad card overall for me.
This event was carried by one fight, Frye versus Takayama. The rest, while good matchups on paper, did not pan out. Renzo versus Aoyama was an awful fight. Fedor versus Schilt was a bit boring. Horn versus Ival wasn't much better. Anderson Silva looked good against Stifling. Bob Sapp crushed Tamura. And the missing fight, Fake Gracie versus pro wrestler Takashi, wasn't really worth watching. Overall, I give this event a 6 out of 10. And now it's the time of the show where we pick our fight of the night. But we're subverting expectations by picking the worst fight of the night, since we already know what the best fight is. Good vibe, what was your worst fight of the night?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, this is a tough choice because there's 2 main contenders. Of course, we know this. The Sapp fight and the Gracie fight. Those are, to me, the worst. I'm going to give it to the Sapp fight. Why? Simple. The Sapp fight never had a chance to be a good fight. The Gracie fight, you have 2 kind of even fighters. Had Gracie not been a bitch, maybe it could have gone better. The Sapp fight never had that chance. You're giving 100 and some fucking pounds. Fuck that shit.
The Sapp fight had the benefit of only lasting 11 seconds. The fucking Renzo Gracie versus Aoyama fight
All right,
was...
if that's your fucking standard, sure, I see where you're coming
20
from.
minutes! I don't think I've shit on Renzo Gracie enough, but wow. What an awful performance. Renzo Gracie is by all regards a great human being. Everybody loves Renzo Gracie. No one will let you talk shit about Renzo Gracie. Like on Twitter, if you try and talk shit, everybody comes to his defense. Everybody loves Renzo Gracie. Everyone knows this.
Wait. Did you try talking shit to Renzo
No, but
Gracie
I've seen other people. He is much loved across social media, but that doesn't change the fact that he has put on some of the worst fucking fights in Pride, including the 30-minute draw against Akira Soji. It was Akira Soji. A 50-minute crapathon against Sine Kukuda, and then the fucking horrible fight against Michiyoshi Ohara.
I'll give you that he's put on some awful fights. Now, my standard for the worst fight is what fight should have never happened. And that Sapp still takes the title. Honestly, that's not on Sapp. Sapp is a great fucking fighter, great guy. It's just, why is he taking these matches? Maybe money, fuck if I know. But he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know why Pride is matching Bob Sapp against these little Japanese
and why
guys.
Bob Sapp is
what
taking them.
What did they expect to happen?
I know.
Well, I'm sure he's just like, sure, I'll fight as long as you're giving me a paycheck. I'll
exactly,
fight
them and some money. I mean, but I want to see him actually have to exert himself.
Yeah, give him a challenge at this point. And with that, we've come to a close of another episode. Wow, what a show, the best yet. We'll be back for more Pride action when we review Pride, the Best, Volume 2.
Oh, listeners, please be ready for that one. Yes. I have some surprises in store.
But just what is in store for us with that event? Taking place on July 20th at the Differ Ariake Arena in Ariake, Japan. Pride the Best Volume 2 features 10 bouts of only the best action, starting off with Yuki Naito taking on Ken Orohashi, Hidehisa Matsuda taking on Yushin Okami, who's making his MMA debut. Joe-san is back.
Christ.
He takes on Juke Nakajima. Shannon Rich returns to take on Daisuke Nakamura. Fatih Kokamis takes on Takahiro Oba. EJ Mitsuoka takes on John Alessio. Takayuki Okada, that's Giant Ochai, he returns to take on Tomohiko Hashimoto. Yusuke Imamura takes on Alistair Overeem, who's making his Pride debut. Antonio Shembri takes on returning loathsome piece of shit, Daiju Takase.
I know, it's just like they throw the word the best, and it just sickens me.
To top it all off, Dirty Bob Schreiber returns to take on Sokun Ko. Looks like it could be a good show. We'll just have to wait and see.
Fuck.
But until then, fight fans, we must bid you adieu. So, for the Colombian good vibe, I am the most dangerous man alive today, wishing you goodbye, good luck, and we'll sniff you fucking jerks later.
Peace.